right inside of the circle, move back up to the blue line. Michael Croft with a body down in front of the net. Brendan Martin from the right side circle fires one, and they score!
Here's Sam Camara up with speed around the rim of the boards. Works it up top for Baker. He's got room. Across. Scores! Sam Camara, his second of the year. And CMU fends off the Michigan Flint Wolverines by a final of 6-5.
Good afternoon, hockey fans, and welcome inside Martin Ice Arena in the heart of Mount Pleasant, Michigan. Today, we have got a treat for you as the Chippewas of Central Michigan University host the number 15 team in ACHA Men's Division III, the Lakers of Grand Valley State. Happy to have you with us here on the CMU Club Hockey Network for ACHA Men's Division III Ice Hockey. I'm Calvin Keys alongside Devin Serra. And Devin, talking to Central Michigan's head coach, Brendan Martin, in the pregame, he really liked the effort from his team, but one thing he'd like to see them crack down on a bit is some of the turnovers that helped Grand Valley get the edge in overtime.
100%. You know, that first period, it was a pretty even hockey game up to that point, 0-0. And then the second period, the floodgates kind of opened. CMU opened the scoring with the first 2 goals of the hockey game, and he talked a lot about how they had maybe 8 turnovers in that first period, and the second and third combined, they had 40+. So they really had to limit the mistakes they had, the mental errors. It allowed Grand Valley to really get back in the game. We mentioned they scored 3 unanswered after that. It took a tie up by Jay Nadeau to get the game to overtime, and so it'll be about limiting mistakes and the turnovers for the Chippewas.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of that game we had last night right here at the Martin Ice Arena, it was a 7:30 p.m. puck drop. And pregame, we were wondering how Central Michigan was going to stack up against an extremely talented Grand Valley State team that's atop the MCHC West standings at the moment. And they were up to the task early. Talk about that, Devin.
Yeah, they were. I mean, out of the gates, we talked about how they had to score first, how they had to get their feet under them quickly. They did that. They kept the game scoreless at the first period, like we mentioned, but afterwards they got the lead they needed, and they kind of built on that. Then they allowed Grand Valley to come back. Look, it's so important against a really good opponent like this. They know the national implications of this. They have to at least find a way to split this series. They got it to overtime, got the point. But it was an impressive feat, especially for a team that's been trying to find their identity. We talked about last night how they released their head coach earlier this week. Tyler Cataline replaced him with former captain Brendan Martin. So, yeah, it was an all-around great effort on both sides. And, gosh, you got to be excited for this one because I think we're going to see more of the back-and-forth action we saw.
From my vantage point, taking in the game last night, it looked like almost a completely different Central Michigan team. You could tell they came out flying, wanted to impress their coach in their first game under his tutelage. And also, they noticed a few new systems that Coach Martin implemented for the game last night. Talked to him about it pregame. Can you discuss a little bit of the things that he's changing in his defensive zone and in neutral ice to try and slow this Grand Valley team down?
Yeah, well, defensively, they have lockdown on all sorts in the slot area. They're trying to clog up the middle, as you so aforementioned to us before the game, how they need to clean up, especially the final 2 minutes of the period. In the first 2 minutes, he talked about how they are able to do the hard work and they're able to clear the pucks to the zone and not allow those free opportunities. But when it comes to the final 2 minutes, they need to lock down defensively. They have not been able to do that. It's been their Achilles heel, not just this year, but going back to past years when they've had games closed out, but they just let in a goal late in a period and all of a sudden the momentum shifts. So, yeah, he's introducing some new schemes, and offensively, he's opened up the ice. He's allowed more guys to get playing time. We saw the bottom 6 forwards get so much more. Ben Rychuk, Hayden Flynn connected for a goal last night. Tyler Martin had some ice time. Andrew Miller. It's a whole different look for the CMU team, and one that looks, in my opinion, no pun intended, more fired up.
Well, they certainly did come out with a lot of heat to begin the second period. Held Grand Valley scoreless for the first. Coming out in the second, Keelan Baker tipped in a point shot from Sam Camara just under 3 minutes into that second frame of play, followed up by a really nice assist from Ben Rychuk, as you mentioned, to connect with Hayden Flynn. What did you see on those goals? And talk about the power play for Central Michigan.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ben Rychuk has been on a tear. He's had now a goal and a point and assist in his last 2 games, going back to that Adrian game that you called when CMU won, was it 4-3 on the road at Arrington. he's been doing this all year. He has this nasty wraparound move that he loves to go to the slot area from, and he's a fast skater. He's not always the most nimble on his feet, but he can skate really fast. He was able to move into the zone quick, find Hayden Flynn, the open man, and right out in front and just one-time it, and that's beautiful stuff, especially for a guy that you know is a grinder. He's physical. He gets in those dirty areas and really makes your life a living hell, no pun intended there. And the point is, he played a phenomenal game, and like we talked about, you know, the turnovers. You talked about the power play. When the penalties came, CMU capitalized. The first time this year they were perfect on the power play, 2 for 2 on the night, and the penalty kill. Only one opportunity for Grand Valley, too many men early in that first period, but look, the special teams are so important, and honestly, we're going to get to our keys of the game. The special teams are going to be so important in this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Central Michigan went out to a 2-0 lead halfway through that second period. Then we saw late in the frame, Justin Chevalier got on the board, assisted by Carson Becks and Eric Gallo. Can you talk about the way that Grand Valley really stormed back late on in the second, and then the response early on in the third? Almost a momentum shift.
Yeah, and it was led by Chevalier, you know, and credit to you know, that whole entire top 6 forward group. They seemed like, yeah, they were a little bit outplayed in that second period, but they came back early in the third period, established a lead, and showed why they were a top team. They can run 3-4 solid lines out there, and really just fatigue is a non-factor for this group. They can play the full 60 minutes. They can play the overtime and use the open ice to their advantage. So for, you know, Chevalier in particular, 2 goals and an assist. He was our first star of the game last night. He's going to be important for them again.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Grand Valley scored 3 unanswered to make it a 3-2 game, take the lead in the third. Chippewas, they had a big response. I thought the game was going to open up and the Lakers may have advanced their lead, but Jay Nadu striking late on in the third period to make it a tie game and force OT. And then in overtime, unfortunately for Central Michigan, we saw an amazing one-time shot from the point from Justin Chevalier, assisted by Noah Fusha and Carson Becks. Crazy end of the game, but let's talk about the goaltenders. They were anchoring both teams. Dominic Stankiewicz for the Grand Valley State Lakers, and of course, Lauren Jones for Central Michigan stood on his head and even, I think, robbed Grand Valley State in overtime on one occasion.
Well, in big games, you need good goaltending, and both sides had that. You know, Stankiewicz did his job in net. He came with some big saves, especially in that second period when Central was playing better. Lauren Jones really impressed. He had game-saving all over the place, just late in that third period and overtime, the big save. He's been doing that all season long, so it's going to be the same story. He's going to get the start tonight. Lauren Jones is for the Chippewas. He's going to have to be that dynamic goaltender. He's going to have to come up with those big stops. He knows that. It'll be how does his team respond, if and when does he let in a goal.
I definitely agree with you. It's going to come down to how the Chippewas are able to limit the quality of the shots and the quantity for the Lakers. One thing that's interesting to note, we'll touch on it more right before puck drop, but Davis Zeismer getting the start this afternoon instead of Dominic Stankiewicz. Zeismer has some good stats. He's 4-0 on the year, 1.5 goals against average and .920 save percentage. Extremely respectable stats, but you wonder if he'll be up to the test here in a pretty marquee game in the second half of the back-to-back.
And you wonder about the two, how has the dynamic been through this season, right? Stankiewicz has played the most games for them. Zeismer, as we said, only had about 4 or 5 games of action this year. It'll be interesting to see how he responds, and it could probably be his best matchup of the season if we're talking just looking at last night.
Yeah, let's talk about a look around the MCHC East standings. Chippewas currently in third out of 7 teams, and Saginaw Valley State and Lawrence Tech the only 2 sides ahead of them. Obviously, a couple of frustrating losses to Saginaw Valley State earlier on in the season. Not a lot of teams in action this weekend as getting set for winter break, fun times with family around the Christmas tree.
Yeah, absolutely.
But for Central Michigan, what do you think the landscape is, and what are their chances that they will be able to leapfrog Lawrence Tech and Saginaw Valley State?
Well, that Saginaw Valley State series was tough. On the home ice, they lost 6-5. They lost that game late, kind of like they did against Grand Valley here. And looking at kind of that Lawrence Tech team, they have really revamped their roster. They're so good this year. They're honestly my pick to win the division this year. But Saginaw has been playing the most games, and they've been the most dominant. I think for Central Michigan, you're looking at that second or third seed spot. I think Saginaw obviously has established that presence. Look, if CMU wants a chance in this division, they've got to go on a run, period. And this game does not matter for the interdivision standings, but nonetheless, it is important, as you mentioned.
Well, we'll step aside for a moment and be back with our coaches show. Devin Sarah will be interviewing Brennan Martin right after the break. Stay with us here on the CMU Club Hockey Network. All right, sorry.
That's okay.
We're
You're
going
good.
to get through more of it.
You're good.
I just want to get him in before
Oh, okay. So we
Yeah.
can come back and talk about more of that stuff.
Yeah, we should do that, but let's get him in here. Marty, come here. Yeah, no, you're good.
They on the bench. Check the office. It might be in there.
Back with you inside Martin Rice Arena for this edition of the Coaches Show presented by SeamanIceHockey.com. I am joined by new interim head coach Brendan Martin of the Chippewas. Brendan, you made your first official start as head coach last night in that 4-3 overtime loss against Grand Valley. Kind of assess to me how your team played overall and implementing your new system.
Yeah, I think they adjusted really well. I wanted them to pressure. My type of style is I want the game to go through us. I want us to control the play and don't give them any ice. We go and take it from them. And anything that runs through the ice is going to run through us, and we're not going to back down from anyone. And really, we're just going to outwork them. That's all I've really been stressing to them. We haven't really had that much time to implement the systems that I would like to with my assistant coaches. But the easy stuff that we put in, they did well yesterday, and I thought it worked. And so now it's just taking it to that next level and getting the win.
You talked about that pressure you established with your team. The second period, you really took it to Grand Valley. You really had them making a lot of the miscues in their own end. You caused them to make some turnovers. It led to some offensive chances. You capitalized on the power play, 2 for 2 on the night. Tell me about kind of where is that strength coming from, and how are you so able to adapt not just on the special teams, but that 5-on-5? I mean, the pressure you're talking about, it seems like they couldn't get any sort of offensive zone time for 5.5 minutes.
Well, it comes down to the players believing in each other. This program, it's never been about a single coach or a single player. It's been about the whole team, the parents that support it, and they got to go out and play for them at the end of the day, play for each other, and that was what I was really stressing to them. Was it's not one individual. It's about this whole team and believing in each other and buying into your roles. And we had some guys out, but it's next man up mentality for me, and I stress that to them. No excuses. There's no excuses. You have to go and do your job and ultimately win the game.
Finally, Coach, this is a big matchup. You guys have not been able to beat a ranked team this year. You are 0-4-2 this year against ranked opponents. And Grand Valley State, you knew you could play with them last night, and really it was a game most of CMU Chippewa fans thought you should have won. What is your big key today? What has to happen in order to overcome this Grand Valley team?
Capitalize on our opportunities. I was stressing that to them. Some guys might get 4 or 5, some guys might get 1 or 2, but it's bearing down, being mentally tough, capitalizing on your opportunities, and ultimately playing a full 60 minutes. I think it's been an issue for this team, this program, really, last few years, not being able to finish out games. When you go up 2-0, can't let a goal up in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, big important note is you guys have let up a couple of goals late in those periods, right, when you should have it closed out. You had one with 20 seconds left in that second period, allowed UVSU to gain momentum. So it'll be a story tonight we'll watch. Play a full 60 minutes. I like it, Coach. Thank you for your time here on this edition of the Coaches Show. That was interim head coach Brendan Martin ahead of Puck Drop here from Martin Ice Arena. We'll be back in a moment with the rest of the pregame show. Stay with us. You're watching Central Michigan Hockey here on CCHN. flat out, Calvin, they need to play a full 60 minutes. I mean, it's been an issue for this team that they've been in these close game situations where you go into a third period tied 2-2, or you go up maybe 3-1 or having the lead, and it doesn't work out for you because they were not able to put together the full 60 minutes. The point is they have to be able to know their assignments and play the full game, especially the final 2 minutes. I mean, he stressed the point of we can't let in those goals with 2 minutes left in the period. We can't let in those goals that are last second. We have to lock down on defense, do what we were talking about, implement that defensive scheme, clog up the middle, not allow the easy opportunity for Lauren Jones because he can make the stop if he has to, but the point is they can't allow as many easy chances for a really high-powered offense in Grand Valley.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of Grand Valley, they're 14-2 on the year, first in the MCHC, as we talked about earlier on in the show. 7 straight victories. They're on a heater right now. They're also 7-1 on the road, which is pretty respectable. Very efficient on the power play. As for the series history, they lead the all-time series over Central Michigan 7-5-0-4. Talk about some of the past meetings that Central Michigan's had with this team. I know they had a very marquee matchup last season in the playoffs.
Well, absolutely. They were going to until they ran into the Hope College Dutchmen, who would go on to be the eventual national champions. But they lost the Vesna Cup semifinal, Hope did, to this Grand Valley team. So if you're talking about pure talent-wise, Grand Valley has been the superior team in that category, but they've been going back and forth for years. You go back to the 2020 ACHA North Regional semis, in which CMU went on to win their second Vesna Cup. They beat this Grand Valley team. So they have a history with this club, and call it a rivalry if you will. Playing on the other side of the divisions is a little tough to call rivalry, but I mean, this team has as much might as anyone else in the ACHA, and like you said, they're very, very good on a heater right now, 7 straight.
Yeah, that's huge. Taking a look at some of the scratches we have tonight, Connor Morgan and Isaac Gibbs still out of the lineup for the foreseeable future with injury. And one noteworthy change in the roster, not sure if it's an injury or just a personnel decision by the Grand Valley coaching staff, but we're not going to see Zach Van Salkema. I thought he played really well last night, got an assist.
Yeah, he was. He was really manning the wings, especially in the left corner, just working it along the boards. He's one of those dynamic forwards, along with a lot of them, that can make the play happen and knows his role, knows his assignment, and can get the clean puck out. And yeah, it is an interesting move, and we didn't get a chance to talk to head coach Knox about for Grand Valley why that is, but nonetheless, it is an important scratch for sure.
Well, let's take a look at our players to watch for tonight's game. For Central Michigan, you highlighted Andrew Porzondik as well as Nathan Bottles. Let's talk about Porzondik. Leads the team in points with 25 in 16 games played. Talk about what he means to this Chippewa team.
He is the lifeblood of this Chippewa offense. When Andrew Porzondik is playing well, the rest of the team plays well. Kind of like how you have a dynamic captain, or you have that player that steps up and can make the big play for you. Porzondik's that guy. He's got points in 6 of his last 8. He has a team-leading 4 power play goals this season. And that's important. Why? Because CMU's power play has to be excellent today. They were last night 2 for 2. It's probably the biggest weakness on this Grand Valley team, if you're going to pick one, is their special teams, normally the penalty kill. So you have to see him step up. He's a player to watch, and he really is every week just because of the amount of goals he scores and the things he does on offense and the way the team kind of builds off of his play.
Now, quickly, let's talk about Nathan Bottles. You mentioned that looks like one of the most skilled players on the ice, each and every night. What does he bring to the table for this Chippewa team?
A high hockey IQ, a good ability to skate, somebody that really uses his teammates. He's not always the perennial goal scorer like a lot of other players. Oh, no, good in his own right. 9 goals, 5 assists this year. He's able to make the play happen because of how smart he is on the ice.
Now, for Grand Valley, you highlighted Justin Chevalier as well as Carson Becks. We saw their 1-2 punch on display last night as they combined for the game-winning goal. Mitch, can you talk about Chevalier, both the skill he has both as a goal scorer and as a provider to his teammates?
What really impressed me is the shot he has, especially in that overtime winner. He took a one-time clapper feed, and I don't even think it hit a body. Yeah, like it just went straight in past the blocker side. And yeah, with that shot, it's so good. And yeah, Carson Becks. One notable thing about these two players lead the team in penalty minutes, 34 for Chevalier and then 16 for Becks. That's important because, like we just said, the power play is going to be a crucial thing tonight in special teams.
Lakers need to make sure those two guys stay out of the box so they can contribute on offense. Well, we will be back for the national anthem and the start of play in just a few moments' time here on the CMU Club Hockey Network. Stay with us.
Starting netminders presented by SeaMuchIceHockey.com. For the Grand Valley State Lakers, they will turn to their second goaltender, number 1, David Zeismer. In 4 games this year, he is undefeated. 4 wins, 0 losses, a 1.50 goals against average, and a .920 save percentage. For the Chippewas, they turn back to their goaltender from last night's matchup. Lauren Jones, in 10 games played this year, has 5 wins, 4 losses, the 1 overtime loss, and a 3.71 goals against average with a .898 save percentage. Calvin.
Now a look at this afternoon's starting lineups for the Chippewas. It'll be Jones, as you said, in net. On defense, Christopher Martin alongside Austin Ritter. And the forward line will be Julian Johnson, Andrew Porzondik, and Jay Nadeau. As for the Grand Valley State Lakers, it'll be Cole Parkhurst, Braden Nielsen, and Noah Fouché on offense. And on defense, Jacob Jansen and Sam Gorno. Puck drop, and we're underway. ACHA hockey at the Marty, and already we see an icing call against the Lakers. Chippewas moving left to right on your screen in the gold uniforms. Grand Valley State moving right to left in the blue. Calvin Keys with Devin Sarah. Again, glad you've joined us on this Sunday afternoon on the CMU Club Hockey Network. It's Johnson. He'll dig in alongside Fouché on the faceoff. This one handled by Porzondik. Tried to throw it out in front. Now cleared away by the Lakers. A race back for it. Ritter will spin this one ahead for Martin. Drop pass was errant, but Lakers had to tag up, so Braden Nielsen wasn't able to make a play on the puck. Saucered up through center. They wave it off. Laker defenseman had a chance to play it. Battled for along the near half wall. Porzondik trying to dig it loose. Fouché working on the puck, followed up by Nielsen. Lakers unable to get it out as Johnson pinches along the wall. Backhanded ahead, this one taken by Parkhurst. Tried the indirect feed off the far boards, and it's played back in, this time by Sam Camara.
That's a really fast start for CMU. That top line forcing Grand Valley back to their own zone for a couple of cycles. I like the pressure you see, and we're going to see finally in this first 5 minutes kind of which team gains the momentum off the hop. Initially last night it was more Central Michigan than Grand Valley, but so far the Lakers have a chance. A look out.
Turnover, and here's Miller. Breakaway opportunity. He shoots one right into the chest of Davis Zeismer. How's that for your first save of the hockey game?
Yeah, and it's a pretty good opportunity there for the freshman. Andrew Miller has seen a lot more playing time since interim head coach Brendan Martin came in. He got a lot of time last night, and good to see him get a breakaway chance right there. I would have liked to see him try and maybe pick the spot blocker, but nonetheless puts it in the chest protector. But a nice, good first shot of the game.
Miller looking for his first goal of the season. It is saved by Zeismer on a partial breakaway chance. Banked off the window. It will be controlled by Resnick. Slides it over for his D partner, Carson Becks, who had a big impact last night. Dropped off for Gal. Played in. This one is handled by Kielb and steered forward. Saraki couldn't keep possession. Bumped along, out of the reach of Kamara. Here's Andrew Mulder on the forecheck. Bumped into the dasher board by Kamara, trying to dig it free. 50-50 battle along the near wall. Turning and firing that one down low was Bonzer. It'll rim around the kick plate. Stick is lifted in a dangerous chance. Rychuk. Long shot coming in now from Chevalier. Kept in at the blue line. Lakers going to work on the cycle as we saw a lot last night, Devin. Up at the blue again. It's Carey. Down for Chevalier. Moving down low in the offensive zone from his normal defensive post. Carey turned it over to Clements. Kamara will settle the play down. Still has Carey in his face. Around the boards, Flynn trying to work it out. He's opposed by Mullen. Finally able to clear are the Chippewas after they were hemmed in their own zone for an extended period.
Yeah, and you know, the good part of that segment was Hayden Flynn clogged up the middle with Ben Rychuk, not allowing the one-timer in the slot. As looks like this one's going to come back for the icing as they didn't gain the red line. But the point is that defensive posture. We talked so much about how Brendan Martin talked about limiting the mistakes, not allowing the easy shot right there. That's something they're going to try and work on a lot more, is kind of get the forward that's streaking in high for the slot opportunity to clog that area up and block him in front and not allow that passing lane to come about.
Clements sent it down for icing, so several of the tired Chippewas unable to change. Picked up by the Lakers, Lauren Jones makes a nice stop. Sticked away off the opportunity from Chris Dundas. Flynn trying to deliver it out. Good keep in at the blue by Petersmark. Kamara goes D-to-D for Clements. Has some open ice to skate it. Lobs this one up, can be gloved down by Gorno. He'll gain center ice and shoot in once more.
And now the team really has had a lot of extended possession other than the Lakers, but CMU right now a couple of costly turnovers at their own end.
Here's Kamara. CMU struggling on the breakout early. Clements tried to go rink wide, hit the backside of the leg of his teammate Julian Johnson, takes some friendly fire in an area without much padding. Carroll tried to skip by a hit from Johnson. Now it's Nadeau crossing over the Grand Valley blue line. Glove down by Porzonik, fighting for it. A chance in front for Nadeau. That is saved by Zeismer, and some extracurricular activity in the aftermath.
Wow, what physicality from Nadeau to get that puck up to Porzonik. They were trying to streak past 4 Grand Valley defenders, and they eventually got a shot off. Trying to go short side was Nadeau, and that's just impressive work from 2 forwards that we talked about so much, trying to step up for this team. And Nadeau had the big goal to tie the hockey game up in the third, and then Porzonik, as we mentioned in the pregame show, just one of those players that really gets this team going, and that's a good start for him to kind of set the tempo for the Chippewa team to not back down on their chances.
Absolutely icing the call against the Lakers, so will come back in their end. For Davis Zeismer, he's only had to make 2 stops so far in the hockey game, but one was on a near breakaway chance, and then another opportunity on the doorstep for Nadeau. He holds strong early. Johnson wins the faceoff off of Ball. Long shot, Ritter. That is swallowed up by Zeismer once more. We were talking about it before we went on air, but Austin Ritter, kind of a jack of all trades for this Chippewa team. He can play as both a forward and a defenseman. Yeah,
the senior with 2 goals, 5 assists on the year, has had a couple of good moments this year, especially in the middle part of the year. And you mentioned having to play defense for a couple of injured guys. You know, Kyle Chapman was out of the lineup for a while. Braden Keel was injured, so he kind of has had to play that 2-way forward position. And so far, he's done a pretty solid job of that this season.
Martin turned the puck over. Nielsen going to work. Supported by Fouché. Back for Resnick. He'll slide it across. Chance here from the point. Puck loose in front. Skitters right by the blue paint. The opportunity in tight from Braden Nielsen. Missed the goal. Parkhurst trying to drive into the slot. Puck is lost in the skate of Austin Ritter and finally cleared to the far corner.
And you can tell CMU is kind of tired of their own end right now. This group has been on the ice for the last minute and a half.
Stepping up for a shot. That is paddled away by Martin. Nadeau will knock it out, and maybe a break here for the Chippewas. Jay Nadeau driving wide along the near side, dropped off for Porzonik, fires. That one deflected. It appeared off the stick of Nielsen. Nielsen will rim it around the boards, kept in by Charlie Hayes. Long shot, deflected in front. Porzonik with the bank attempt, tried to go off the back of Zeismer. Now the Lakers with a nice rink-wide feed that was a little bit too far behind Parkhurst. Clements dealt off for Hayes. Now it's Bottles with the puck. Bottles, nice move to skate in, and a nice blocker stop made by Davis Zeismer, and sends it up into the protective netting for a whistle.
Let's take a look at our keys of the game presented by SeaMitchIceHockey.com. First off, we had lockdown in the final minute of period. Central allowed a goal within 20 seconds of the second last night to put the Lakers within 1. It kind of shifted the momentum. Our second one was continue to limit the penalties and mistakes. And really, we talked more about the turnovers that we so aforementioned in the pregame show with Brendan Martin. And finally, capitalize on the power play. It was the first time this year CMU has been perfect in the special teams, 2 for 2 on the power play and 1 for 1 on the penalty kill. So they need to continue that if they get the opportunity.
Gal took a hard body check down low from Clements. Works it on for Miller. Rink wide, Siraki. Andrew Siraki, the freshman, working in. Opens up, slends one across the slot area. Nobody home. Down low with it, Carey. Pinned to the boards by Siraki. They battle away for it. Bottles. Opposed by Carey once more. A point shot coming in from Andrew Miller, who's had a nice start to the hockey game. That is covered up by Zeismer for the stoppage with exactly 14 minutes left to play in the first period.
Yeah.
Still scoreless for Martin Iser.
And I really don't mind that shot attempt. You know, you're looking at keeping it onside, and you got a streaking player kind of pitching in on you, just trying to look for a deflection in front. This CMU Chippewa team, not necessarily known as one of the better redirect teams, but we have seen them score a lot of dirty goals this year. And really, for Andrew Miller, as you mentioned, 2 good quality shots to start his game.
And speaking of redirects, Keelan Baker out on the ice right now. Had a nice tip in yesterday to get the scoring going for Central Michigan. Tough angle, but they score. Justin Chevalier picks up right where he left off last night. Scored the OT game winner yesterday. Gets the goal scoring going for Grand Valley here over 6 minutes into the first period.
Holy moly, is this a highlight reel if ever. Justin Chevalier just going bar down from a really sharp angle right there past Lauren Jones. And you mentioned it now, 3 goals on the weekend. He had 2 goals and an assist last night. Continues that. He just made a phenomenal move to streak in fast and put a shot that honestly no one really expected in this building. And it goes in like that. And all so far, Grand Valley starts the hockey game up 1-0.
Not only was Chevalier able to dance around the defenseman for the Chippewas, he also got around the referee and then shelved it. Jones went down, looked like a little bit too early, provided a lot of room up top, and Chevalier goes shelf. Opening up with the puck now is Jansen. Plays it across for Gorno. Wrapped around now for Petersmark, couldn't handle it. It's kept in, centered for Nadu. Porzondik following it up. Went off a stick in front. Taken down is Johnson below the goal line. Now it's Porzondik. Point for Camara. Shoots one that's wide of the goal. Collected by Porzondik once more. Johnson, Camara. Played down low this time by Kield. Puck will come just out into neutral ice. Then quickly dumped right back in by Kield. Johnson needs to tag up. Referee yelling at him, and finally Julian Johnson will obey his commands and go out to the neutral zone. Tough to hear sometimes in the heat of battle.
Yeah, definitely. And, for CMU now, it's about trying to manage some sort of momentum shift. You kind of see Grand Valley just off of 1 goal with a lot faster play, and CMU's been heading the zone a couple of times. Big step up right there to Siraki.
Owen Carroll laying the shoulder on Andrew Siraki. Played in deep. Lakers looking to center. Right in front of the blue paint, shepherded away by Bottles. Lead feed was too far ahead of Siraki. Now it's back up for Livingston. Plays it low. Kamara centers for Bottles. Skating up the near wall, he's pressured by Livingston. Staying with the play well, Nathan Bottles circles behind the Laker goal. Drops this one off. Flynn tried a shot, it was fanned on.
Yeah, and once again, Nathan Bottles with such control, such poise with his stick to keep those defenders from hackling the puck away from him.
Puck sent in down low by Livingston.
Oh, that
my,
was
miscue
close.
there from Charlie Hayes. Luckily, Lauren Jones was able to save it. Almost some friendly fire going into the net. Driving wide this time, Fouché. Turns on the brakes, tried the backhand saucer. That was cut off by Baker. Grand Valley is really establishing their forecheck here early, employing some dump and chase hockey, trying to tire out the Chippewas, which they've had some success in doing. Here's Baker, backhanded forward. Flynn will chase. Hayden Flynn falls down to the ice in a heap, as that was misplayed by the Laker defenseman Samuel Molan. Played up again for Parkhurst, trying to turn the corner and lift one on Jones. He makes the save. It appears that the net has been dislodged. So we get a whistle, 10:55 left in the first period. Score is 1-0 Grand Valley thanks to Justin Chevalier. Yeah,
and Cole Parkhurst was kind of working off in that left circle area. I think he tried to get sort of a wrister from a kind of putting his elbow down right arm and trying to roof it in past the upper stanchion of Jones and just couldn't get the shot away. And pretty common occurrence in Martin Ice Arena with the net lodgings coming off here. And we saw a lot of that last night, Calvin. The stoppages are very common here at Martin Ice Arena.
This one played all the way down ice, but Porzondik, nice hustle play to win the race and negate the icing. Lakers open up. High saucer. Haven't seen a lot of passes connecting for either team so far.
Yeah, a lot of really random play just back and forth. The neutral zone's been pretty chaotic.
You can say that again. Ritter going back for it. Parkhurst gets there first. Slides it into the slot. A chance. Blocker save made by Lauren Jones on Noah Fouché. This one played off the window. Hard contact between Parkhurst and Ritter. Ziesmer will go out to play it.
Oh, great hustle there by Jay Nadu to negate the icing.
Thanks for the correction on the pronunciation of Davis Ziesmer's name from a fan here in attendance today. Banked on by Kield. Lakers try the chip shot. Moving ahead is Mulder. Looking to cut in. Beautiful feed, and they score. Noah Fouché, his 6th goal of the season, makes it a 2-0 lead for Grand Valley halfway through the first period.
Wow, what patience by Mo there to hold the puck just for a split second longer. He saw the defender pitching in on him in the slot. Just had this on his blade for just a hair longer and allowed it to get it to Fouché just wide open for that one-time wrister. And that's the shot you got to take to get the goaltender moving and shifting across. And that was a perfect play, perfect pass, perfect shot. And, man, the Lakers, are they buzzing right now? The first 10 minutes up 2-0 in this one from Chevrolet and now Fouché.
You said it, Devin. That was Mulder's 8th assist of the season, and he used like every ounce of his reach to try and tap it over for his teammate. Really good assist from Mulder there. Beat Jones, low blocker. Another chance for Gorno. This one off the flying C on Lauren Jones' sweater, and he'll hold on.
Fans, don't forget that the CMU Club Hockey Network YouTube channel is your one-stop shop for highlights, exclusive interviews, and full game broadcasts for men's Division III and women's Division II hockey. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so as to never miss a moment of Chippewa hockey. Just go to YouTube and search CMU Club Hockey Network to find the channel. CCHN, your home for Chippewa hockey.
Flynn trying to skate it out. A good back check from Bonzer to win it back for his hockey club. Here's Hayes, banked forward, out of the reach of Rychuk. This is spun around once more by Charles Bonzer. Clements lifts one, and this should be icing. Puck management, a big point of emphasis for this Chippewa team. Want to make sure they're connecting on their passes.
Yeah,
don't want to turn it over in their own end.
Honestly, Calvin, the mistakes have kind of mounted for the Chippewas. We've seen a couple of, as you mentioned, those missed passes at center ice. They've had some transition play coming the other way. The pass just been too far, or somebody's lost an edge. Like, they need to get this group going now because the momentum is really falling away from them. And Grand Valley is just good at their own blue line, not allowing Central Michigan any easy entrances to the zone, and when they are, they're pressuring them hard. Oh boy, look out.
Driving in here, the backhand chance, looking for the tip-in in front was Sam Gorno. I believe that was Andrew Mulder who was upended as he was crashing the net. Charlie Hayes a long shot. Ziesmer will grab it with the catching mitt. And Rychuk took a late swipe at Davis Ziesmer, and I think that's going to be a penalty call.
Yeah, well, Rychuk took a little light cross-check to the back himself, and he wasn't happy about it and tried to retaliate, and he was the guilty party. So it doesn't matter who did it first, but the one who gets caught is seen, and it's Ben Rychuk going to the box for that.
You see a lot where the guy who kind of has the retaliation penalty, usually the one that catches the eye of the official. Rychuk there obviously can't go after the goalie like that after the whistle has blown. Gave a swipe at the left pad of Ziesmer. And last night the discipline was really good for Central Michigan. Only took one penalty the whole night. Didn't want to give this Grand Valley team a lot of time to operate on the man advantage, but here with 8:45 left in the first period, they'll be shorthanded for 2 minutes. This one lifted out immediately by the Chippewas, try and kill some clock. Again, Lakers leading 2-0 in the first period of play, 8.5 to go. Grand Valley looking to extend their lead here on the power play. They turn it over, and it's Jay Nadeau walking in, firing, and Ziesmer just got a piece of it.
Oh, look out. Big one coming up in the corner here. Oh, boy, it's Braden Nielsen over there with Jay Nadeau. Oh, my goodness. Did you see? They, like, Superman tackled each other into the corner, and it was Nielsen going after Nadeau.
So it was Nadeau, as you said, Devin, who had the initial chance, went off Ziesmer and out of play, and then after the whistle had gone, Nadeau sent one on net. And
so they're going to give both of these guys, it looks like. I don't know if I agree with that. I thought Nielsen was the one that went after Nadeau right there on the play, but this officiating crew elected to give them some more open ice now. It's going to probably send this one, I would guess, 4-3, but I see 5 Grand Valley Lakers on the ice.
I think the penalties are going to offset, so we will stay at 5-on-4. Braden Nielsen, as you mentioned, he's getting called for roughing, and then the signal for Nadeau was a cross-check. But, boy, I think Nielsen's pretty lucky to get away with a 2-minute minor.
Yeah, I agree.
Dangerous play as he tackled Nadeau into the boards. We stay at 5-on-4 hockey.
Well, that's important because we know how good Grand Valley is in the open ice, and it doesn't matter if it's 4-on-3. If you give them more of it, they're going to make you pay on it. And boy, was that an opportunity for Jay Nadeau that he just could not roof past Ziesmer. And, you know, Calvin, and now with the way this first period's going, I mean, they have to take advantage of every single opportunity they get. It doesn't matter whether it's a power play, shorthanded, whatnot. They have to find a way to put this one in the back of the net.
So the way it will work for these 2 penalties to Nielsen and Nadu is after 2 minutes have elapsed and we get a stoppage, that's when they'll be able to head out of the box. Otherwise, they'll have to stay in there until we do get a whistle. That was an interesting turn of events. One of the Chippewa players sent it into the Grand Valley bench, so we'll get a rare face-off at center ice. Face-off won back by Bottles. Played ahead by Kamara. Penalty kill looking good so far for Central Michigan. This one is dropped off, skated ahead by Sam Gorno. Plenty of space for Chris Dundas now. Dundas circles behind the goal, gets a bit of a forearm shiver from Christopher Martin. Siraki picks it up, fires it around, race to get there. Gorno can't keep it in. Lakers will have to regroup. Peters mark. Tried to turn this one ahead, left off for Gorno, saucers over. Now it'll be an indirect pass from Dundas. Looks ahead for Fouché rather. Fouché back for Dundas once more. Down low for Gorno. Power play getting set up for the Lakers as turning out front Mulder. Petersmark had a whack at it. Good stick in the lane from the Chippewa defense. Now it's tipped in front by Fouché and wide. Back out to the point. Gorno, plenty of space to walk in, looking for the tip from his teammate Dundas. Bottles looking to play it out, and he can, only as far as the center ice line. 5 seconds left, and the penalty to Ben Rychuk. Penalty kill holding steadfast for the Chippewas so far. And they're successfully able to get back to 5-on-5. This one lifted down. They say it was after the penalty had expired, so it will be an icing call against Central Michigan.
And that is the right call on that play. You talk about how Grand Valley is using that open ice to their advantage. They're cycling the puck well. I believe they have a couple of forwards trying to look for kind of a one-touch redirection or somewhat of a funky redirect, like I just said, in front of the net. And, you know, it's coming for them, but just can't put it in the back of the net that time. And credit to CMU, they cleared the zone when they needed to, and now it's about reestablishing themselves and not getting hemmed in their own zone.
This one battled for by Bonzer. Wins it. Speared ahead by Clements. Baker digging away at it. Puck comes for Kamara. Opening up. Doesn't like what he sees, so he'll reverse it for Clements. Lifted ahead. Baker got a touch on it. No icing. Ziesmer. Rychuk getting there first. Sent it into the slot where it is carried on here by Carey. Slid to the near wall as Carey stood up Keelan Baker. Now shot in by Andrew Mulder. Patted aside by Lauren Jones, and it'll come back out to center. Race after it. Flynn hot on the tail of Mullen. Bodies come together along the near glass. Clements speeding ahead to try and keep the puck in the zone. Hayes grabs it just outside the Grand Valley blue line. Now gloved down by Daniel Carey. Looking for Chevalier.
They were trying to hold the blue line so that they could have bodies streaking in after they allowed Grand Valley State players to follow at the half wall. So we're going to get a whistle.
Another penalty upcoming. It'll be for a cross check against Justin Chevalier. I think it was something that happened behind the play, as he was tangled up with a Central Michigan player along the near boards.
5:52 to go in this first period, and that is such an important penalty. CMU was 2 for 2 on the power play last night. Chevalier leads this team in penalty minutes now with 36. It's going to be officially after the cross check. So look, if you're CMU right now, an important face-off draw, you got to dig in. You have to get the defense shifting across. Get it to the point with Christopher Martin and Charlie Hayes. Big face-off win.
Back for Christopher Martin. The power play will commence. Into the slot. Nathan Bottles banging away at it. To the far wall. Hayes will hustle to get there in time. Justin Chevalier. 2 minutes for cross-checking. Committed the crime against Hayden Flynn here behind the play right in front of our broadcast area. Here's Bottles. Nice move. Trying to dance by Resnick. Looked like he may have been hooked a little bit on the play. Martin. One-touch feedback for Nadu. Chris Martin and Jay Nadu playing catch. Now a long shot from Charlie Hayes. That whistled wide. Now cleared away by the Lakers. $1:20 left on the Chippewa power play. 4 minutes, 40 seconds left in the first period. Central Michigan trails 2-0 against Grand Valley. Hayes, the captain, he'll go for a skate. Couldn't quite get in cleanly, but remains onside. Rims it around the wall. Carson Becks turned it over. Bottles out in front. What an opportunity for Ben Rychuk. Turned it just wide.
Yeah, they're trying to send this one really far down low in the slot.
Now Rychuk going from low to high. Puts on the brakes. Trying to shake loose from Parkhurst. He'll find Hayes. Sealing up the ice was Ziesmer. Couldn't control the rebound. Now another chance for Hayes. That was knocked down by Rychuk. Cleared away by Bryce Ball. A high stick from Hayes. Chris Martin will be the next one to touch it, so this face-off will stay in the Central Michigan zone.
Yeah, and a lot of good stuff happening. I feel like CMU is doing a solid job cycling the puck. They're getting those chances in front. They just are a pass away from connecting and putting it in the back of the net. Nathan Bottles has been all over the slot area and trying to bang away at it. That's how CMU is scoring the majority of their power play goals. Dirty, gritty, getting to those high danger areas, and boy, they had a couple of good looks right there. There's still 30 seconds left to work with.
Julian Johnson wins it back cleanly for Sam Camara, who will orchestrate the breakout here on the power play. Maybe one final rush for the Chippewas on the man advantage. Camara weaving wide, played it in to Chase. Now the puck will deflect up and out of play. We get a whistle. 14 seconds left on the CMU power play.
Stay tuned with us. This first intermission report coming up by CMHIcehockey.com. We'll recap all things this first period, as well as get you your out-of-town scoreboards. Only 2 to report for today, as only 3 teams in ACHA Division III in action.
Andrew Siraki opposing Chris Dundas on the draw. Dundas wins it back. Lakers clear. And it looks as if they've put together a successful penalty kill. Both teams will go to 0 for 1 on the power play. Goals so far for Grand Valley. It was started off by Chevalier and then followed up, I believe, by Cole Parkhurst, who had the second tally. Now skating ahead with it is Chris Dundas. Moving in on the odd man rush. Puck loose in front. And the Lakers score. Or no, it is waved off. They're going to complain to the referee about it. Puck was loose. It looked like it was sitting in the blue paint, and one of the Laker players tapped it home.
Well, I think they're trying to maybe call this off because he didn't get it with the knob of his stick, and you can't push it in with the net with your body. You can't kick it in intentionally, so I believe there was some kind of motion in that they're directing, which would negate the goal and leave this one still in a 2-0 hockey game. Boy, that was a dangerous rush, though, coming the other way. All of the CMU players caught way too far down low and allows a 2-on-1 to come the other way. And boy, Grand Valley almost did not make them get a mistake. And now this is the time, Calvin, remember Brendan Martin talked about the final 2 minutes. It's 3:04 left. CMU's got to lock down, at least keep this at a 2-0 game, because you put yourself in a 3-0 hole against a team this good. That is a tough mountain to climb.
So we're saying that it was one of the Laker players that kicked the puck into the net, and that's why it'll be negated. That's what the referee is explaining.
That's the initial thought process, yeah.
Referee talking to Grand Valley head coach Dylan Knox right now. I'd love to get another look at that when the play developed so fast.
Yeah.
It looked like the rebound was just sitting there, and then one of the Laker players tapped it in. Initially thought it was with the blade of their stick, but turns out that's not the case.
Yeah, I think it was maybe Dundas just putting his hands up in the celebration, and so we all thought the same thing. But nonetheless, it's a 2-0 hockey game.
Big break for Central Michigan. To 2-goal lead is manageable, but 3-goal lead would be a lot to surmount. So at this point, trying to get out of the period with a 2-goal deficit and bouncing back in the second frame. Exactly 3 minutes left to play in the first frame. This draw will be taken between Nathan Bottles and Jacob Jansen. Ritter along the wall. Could not be batted down that time by Siraki. Now it'll collide with him, and he'll skate onwards. Andrew Siraki, shot ramped up off the stick of Jacob Jansen and up into the fishing net.
And one thing I've noticed, too, is when CMU's had their chances on the rush, Grand Valley's doing a good job keeping everything to the outside. They're deflecting the shot attempts. They're not allowing dangerous opportunities, at least recently. And, you know, if you're CMU, you have to work from the blue line in. You have to get good passing work. You have to get your defensemen involved and win faceoffs, and they're doing that right there.
Another face-off win for the Chippewas, as you said, Devin. Martin delivered it down low. Siraki will play it back to the point. Austin Ritter winds, fires. Shot was errant. Martin able to hold the blue line. Trying to work it out was Livingston. Lakers able to do so. Played right back ahead by Austin Ritter, and going down below the goal line to grab it is Jansen. He'll find Livingston on the near wall. Great breakout feed to get it to Bryce Ball. and now played in between the legs by Carroll. Losing an edge there with ball right in the Chippewa slot. Not much protection on that tailbone as a hockey player, so it never feels good to fall on your backside on the ice like that. Porzondik picks up the loose puck. He'll bat it in. Now Livingston spins it off the half wall. Puck makes its way to Fouché. Noah Fouché up the far side. Porzondik getting back to try and break up the play, but Fouché staying with it. Sends one rink wide to Resnick. He'll collect. Deals it backwards for Nielsen. Initial shot from Parkhurst did not get through the equipment of Braden Keel. Lauren Jones tried to come out of his goal to stop the progress of the puck. Wasn't quite able to. Now regained by Kamara. Final 80 seconds of first period hockey. Grand Valley 2, Central Michigan nothing. Lakers were able to get the win in OT 4-3 last night. Almost feels like the roles have been reversed as the Chippewas scored the first 2 goals of the game yesterday. Entering the final minute of play, this one spun for Keelb from Johnson. Regained for the Lakers by Nielsen. He's go down to the ice in a heap. Keelb in on the forecheck. Body's hitting the floor.
If he could have waited a second longer, he had Siraki wide open on the back door for that one-timer.
It's a bit of a mix-up as Ziesmer and 2 of his defensemen were all tangled up around the goal mouth. Blue-collar work down low by Bottles. Siraki cycles for Bottles once more. Point for Kamara, tried to thread a shot through traffic. Bounce wide to the right side. Now taken by Siraki. 25 seconds left now. Central Michigan getting organized in the offensive zone. Good to see them generate some pressure after they've played a lot of this first period in their own end. Clements, long shot. It's loose in front dangerously, and they score. Referee gives the signal. It's Andrew Clements, and that will be his first collegiate goal as a Chippewa.
How about the freshman? We talked about him all season long, looking for that first goal. Yeah, Brandon Clements, the defenseman, in his 15th game of the year, finally gets that tally, and boy, it was a funky one. Calvin, I believe it bounced up into the air off of the stick of Ziesmer and behind his shoulder, and I don't know if it redirected or if a player banked it in, maybe his own, but nonetheless, Clements is going to get the credit. And man, we talked about how last night the momentum shift for Grand Valley when they got a goal in the final 2 minutes. Now it's Central Michigan putting themselves back within 1. That was a massive, massive goal. And look, sometimes you got to be good to be lucky, and you got to be lucky to be good, and they got it right there.
Well, there you go, Brandon Clements. Congratulations to that young man. He's been a big addition to the Bulldog blue line this season. He's played great. Finally gets that elusive first goal at the ACHA level. Porzondik, a knee-on-knee hit there with Carey. Not something you like to see. Luckily, Carey's all right. That'll do it for the first period of play. Chippewas get one back to end the first period. They're down 2-1 against number 15, Grand Valley State. Lots of positives and negatives for both sides to work on, but as things stand, it's a 1-goal hockey game as the players head to the locker room for the first intermission. We will be back with our first intermission report, take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard, and recap this one after the break.
This first period intermission report is presented by SeaMitchIceHockey.com. Well, folks, after 20 minutes of play, we see ourselves knotted at a 2-1 hockey game in favor of Grand Valley State. The Lakers were able to notch the first 2 goals of the hockey game within the first 10 minutes after it was the hot hand, number 27, Justin Chevalier, scoring at 6:25 of the first period, unassisted. It was a beautiful shot from the top of the left circle, really rock star angle-ish, and got it past Lawrence Jones' blocker to put them up 1-0. And boy, it seemed like the momentum was all in favor of the Lakers the first period. They were outmanning the Chippewas, outshooting them, keeping them hemmed in their own zone, and forcing them to make tired plays and ice the puck. It was something that Central Michigan really did well against Grand Valley the first half of the game last night, but so far it's been more the Lakers that have been taking the play to the Chippewas than vice versa. Then at 9:55, it was number 13, Noah Fouché, scoring his 6th of the season after a beautiful feed from Andrew Mulder in the slot with great patience. Grand Valley went up 2-0 from that point, and it looked like they had control of the hockey game. The last 10 minutes or so were more even play. Central doing a better job defensively. They killed off the penalty to assess to Ben Rydchuk at 11:25. That put Grand Valley 0 for 1 on the power play tonight, and then Central had an opportunity at 14:20 after Chevalier had a cross-check penalty. So both teams 0 for 1 on the power plays tonight. We mentioned how important the special teams would be in this hockey game. So far, both teams see him at an even tilt, but nonetheless, it was all Grand Valley up until the final 12 seconds when it was Brandon Clements, the freshman, scoring his first goal of the season, the first as a Central Michigan Chippewa and his first of his ACHA career at 19:48 after he made a really long shot attempt from the left blue line. It kind of bounced once and knocked onto the head of the goaltender, Ziesmer, spun around for a second, and then went behind his back into the back of the net to put Central Michigan back within 1. And this is so important because when we talked to head coach Brendan Martin during the coaches show about what he expects and he wants to be better, he talked about the final 2 minutes, the first 2 minutes and the final 2 minutes of each period being important. They would have to score or get some sort of offensive generation in that time and really not allow a goal. And it seemed like they were just playing a majority of defense in their own zone, keeping Grand Valley from going up 3-0. But a lucky bounce and a lucky shot gets it back within 1, and that could just be the spark this Central Michigan team needs to get back in this hockey game. So that's where we sit after 20 minutes, 2-1 in favor of the Lakers still. No out-of-town scoreboards to report yet, as Springfield just collected their puck drop that was slated for 3 o'clock against Thomas College, and then Wentworth Institute of Technology in action as well at 5:30 p.m. puck drop. So no out-of-town scoreboards to report as of that. As for CMU's professional scoreboards, they lost to Tulane 70-63, the men's basketball team dropping that one. And then Central Michigan's gymnastics teams finished second in their exhibition against Michigan, Eastern Michigan, and Western to round out their exhibition schedule and get ready for conference play, which comes up here next semester. So in the final game of this fall semester, Central Michigan finds themselves down 2-1 after Grand Valley got the 2 quick goals to open, and then Brandon Clements at 19:48. Stay with us. Second period puck drop with Calvin Keys and myself, Devin Sarah, next on CCHN, your home for Chippewa hockey.
Welcome back to the CMU Club Hockey Network's coverage of ACHA Men's Division III Ice Hockey. Central Michigan University hosting number 15 Grand Valley State University, and the Lakers leading 2-1 after 20 minutes of play. So far it's been goals from Justin Chevalier as well as Fouché getting on the board for the Lakers. And the Chippewas' only tally came from Andrew Clements, his first ACHA goal. It was an odd one. We were watching the replay back with one of our social media managers, Joe, during the intermission, and the puck went on top of Ziesmer's head, bounced behind him, and then he actually kicked it in with his left skate.
Yeah, very unusual goal, but like we just mentioned, you got to be lucky sometimes, and for Central that couldn't come at a better time because they were very much outplayed in that first period. It seemed like Grand Valley was taking the physicality in the shooting department to them, and you know, sometimes in the final 2 minutes, like we mentioned, that was such an important time for CMU. They've been on the worst half of kind of some goals that have been scored late in periods, and that one they got the better of it. And boy, it was important because now it's only a one-goal hockey game that you can manage better.
Johnson will carry it in. Driving in, fires one. That took a nick off the equipment of Ziesmer. Great chance for Julian Johnson.
Does he ever have hands? You know, not the fastest skater, but boy, he can stick handle when he needs to.
Speaking of stick handling, Fouché tried to put a deke on the Chippewa defense. Central will clear it away. Icing waved off. It is picked up by Jansen. Moves over for Gorno. Now up ahead for Nielsen. Kept in by the stick of Austin Ritter. He'll grab it now. Shoots one. Makes its way through to Johnson. Tried to play it out front. Didn't have anyone with him as the Chippewas forward line was changing. And now maybe a break here. It's Braden Nielsen on the 2-on-1. Fires one. Lauren Jones. No rebound as he makes the initial save and holds on.
Wow, CMU's kind of defense caught in the middle of a line change and not able to get back in time, and it leads to a breakout. And boy, it was a nice shot. Nielsen tried to go glove side on Jones, and he stopped that one. And he's mostly better been better this series on his glove side. And so for CMU, man, they're going to want to talk about cleaning up the line changes on their bench. They had a too many men penalty last night, and honestly, they should have had a second one later. And you know, it's a new coaching staff here. Brendan Martin taking over for head coach Tyler Cataline, who was relieved of his duties this past week, and you're seeing some of the growing pains that come with that.
Charlie Hayes will go back for the puck. One thing we noticed from that first period of play, Devin, both of the goals from Noah Fouché and Justin Chevalier came off of the rush. It wasn't when Grand Valley had established their presence. It was when the Chippewa defense got caught a little bit too far up the ice, as this one will go up out of play. There's protective netting that's trying to shield the speakers. It went through a hole in that netting, and now the puck is sitting up high in the air.
Well, we'll see that in 20 years and make it a fun fact when that was flipped up there. No, but as you mentioned, Calvin, I mean, both
that
those.
Puck's gone forever.
Oh, it is, yeah. Goals coming on the rush, and that's just Grand Valley taking advantage of CMU's mistakes, you know, turning the puck over, something that can't happen, and something that Brendan Martin stressed they need to do better of. And boy, Grand Valley is another icing is going to be called here, not what CMU wanted again. It's something that you can have happen with the dangerous firepower they've got. They can score goals on so many different players in this team. They can spread the wealth of the puck. It's something that now CMU, I mean, crucial face-off coming out first of all, but this line for, especially with Chevalier on the ice, has been pretty dominant.
Dundas won it back for a carry, then deflected the ensuing shot from his defenseman. Pass ahead from Flynn, took a bounce away from the stick of Rychuk. Now it'll come along for Owen Petersmark, trying to work it out of his own end. Baker, down low, Rychuk. Had Miller out front. Instead opts to play it up top for Hayes. Clements has the only goal for CMU, plays it down low. Looking to center, that time was Bottles. Intervening to cut it off was Dundas. Good persistence, hounding the puck right now are the Chippewas. But they have to make sure they respect the speed of Chevalier as he breaks loose once again. And that one, I think, went off the knob of Jones' stick as it sent the twig flying out of his grasp.
Yeah, Dundas had a pretty good look. He got a 2-on-1 going after he sidestepped Brandon Clements, trying to kind of lift his stick and get the puck loose, but didn't work. And, you know, for this first 2.5 minutes or so, it's important CMU tries to get some puck possession. And, look, Calvin, we talked about how last night before the game they had a lot better defensive puck control is the word you used for it, I think, was they held the puck on their stick longer and they kind of were pressuring Grand Valley, and it's just been the opposite story. CMU looks like the more tired side in this first, I would say now, 23 minutes of this hockey game.
It's always tough when you face a team like Grand Valley that has so much depth and they've got 4 lines with some incredible skaters. Chevalier walking out front into the chest of Lauren Jones, seals it off for the stoppage.
Chevalier looking for 4 goals on this weekend. He already had, like we mentioned, 3 goals and an assist this weekend series. Had the first goal of this hockey game earlier from basically rock star angle, top of the left circle. And, I mean, so dangerous. Anytime he has the puck on his stick, you just wonder he's going to get some kind of creative shot off. He will shoot it anywhere at any time.
Yep, emphasis for CMU has to be more of the same from what we saw from most of last night's game, where they had good stick-on-puck defending, closing down Grand Valley's space. Icing is waved off. Played up once more for Petersmark. Stolen away momentarily by Nadu. Porzondik will find it, slid it right through the legs of his line mate Nadu. Plays around the boards, takes a bit of a late check there from Gorno. Johnson trying to hold it in. Maybe a break here for Justin Chevalier. Chris Martin cuts him off well. Good poke check to track down Chevalier. Comes back to the point. Here's Johnson. Slid across Gorno. That one deflected right in front over the goal. Another chance for Johnson. Plays it around as trying to change with Petersmark. It'll be taken by Nadu. Jay Nadu with the speed. Had a goal last night. Can he find a repeat performance? Missed the net.
Oh, man, if Julian Johnson could have kept his blade on the ice, he could have kept that puck in for a second look.
Walking in and firing way above the goal was Petersmark. Grabs it now. Shot down low. Here's Ball trying to center. It'll be corralled by Johnson. Heads back behind his own goal. Looking to skate onwards. Connected with Carroll that time. Centering, spinning down to the ice was Petersmark. Tough to collect that one. Now the follow-up opportunity for Carroll. That one saved by Jones. Plays around for Christopher Martin. Chippewas need to get this puck out. Being pressured heavily by the Lakers at the moment. Johnson wasn't able to bat down the bouncing puck, but able to stick it away from Rychuk. Now Bex. Over for Johnson. Again, couldn't handle the feed. He'll skate in. Fires one. That will be covered up by Lauren Jones. 15:37 left to play in the second period. 2-1, the Lakers lead over the Chippewas.
Well, Jones has been busy. He's had to come up big a couple of times after Grand Valley, again, continue what they've always been doing, pressuring CMU, winning the one-on-one battles, creating turnovers, and it's leading to scoring chances right now, and CMU just still tired in their own end. They have to keep forcing the puck out and icing it, and it's just leading to more offensive chances for the Lakers.
Cole Parkhurst left it for Fouché. Had the second goal of this hockey game for the Lakers. Cleared out by Hayden Flynn as he gave a bump to Braden Nielsen. Delayed penalty, it appears, coming up against Central Michigan as the referee's arm is up in the air. Clements will touch up. Lakers continue to play, much to the ire of Clements, tangled up with, I believe that's Parkhurst. Rychuk exchanging words with Nielsen at the moment. And I think he'll be the guilty party.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
It looks like it's going to be Hayden Flynn going to the box, rather.
Yep. Elbowing is the call. Hayden Flynn, the senior, notched his first goal of the season last night, and pretty costly penalties. Central Michigan going to have to go to their second penalty kill of the night, and you talk about the first 5 minutes just kind of being, again, it's kind of the same what the first was. Grand Valley taking advantage of CMU's mistakes.
Chevalier wins the face-off, and the power play will proceed for the Lakers. Up top, Parkhurst into the middle of the ice. Stopped by the stick of Clements, or rather that was Kamara. On the far boards, Nielsen looks back up top for Resnick, walking the blue line. Still it's Dylan Resnick, plenty of space, ice opening up, he centers it. Fanning on the feed. Was Charles Bonser, had that one on a platter.
Yeah, he's mad at himself because he knew he had this in his breadbasket and just couldn't get enough of a whiff on it to generate some power on that shot attempt.
Chippewas dodge a bullet. Minute 20 left on the Laker power play as it's sent ahead for Chevalier once more. Loves to drive wide with that speed of his. Plays it around the kick plate. Trying to find it is Clements. Kamara will clear it out. Now it's Resnick grabbing it. Bottles first man in on the forecheck. Played between the legs. Nifty feet ahead by Chevalier there. It is kept in by Bonser. Now Parker sliding across. Good defensive stick by Clements. Delivers a hard hit on a Laker player. Chevalier has it pickpocketed by Porzondik. He's got Bottles with him. 2-on-1 for CMU. Finds Bottles. He scores. Nathan Bottles goes top shelf. We got a tie hockey game. Chippewas strikes shorthanded on the odd man rush.
The 2 goal scorers on the team, Andrew Porzondik and Nathan Bottles, connect shorthanded. Andrew Porzondik has the most shorthanded goals on this team, and now Nathan Bottles notches his first one of the season at 13:48, and that was so crucial in transition. Joining the rush like we've seen so many times tonight, that one in CMU's favor, and when you get those 2 players connecting, it's hard to miss. Nathan Bottles and Andrew Porzondik, and man, what a finishing job by Bottles to continue to play and tie this hockey game up.
I was going to say, Devin, if you could pick any 2 Chippewas to be on a 2-on-1 for CMU, I think those are the 2 guys that you would select. Andrew Porzondik and Nathan Bottles, so skilled. Great tip in by Bottles, or rather more of a one-time finish, but got it over the shoulder of Ziesmer. But still work to do on the penalty kill for CMU. 15 more seconds of power play time, as that one is mishandled by Dundas. He'll have to go all the way back for it. Sent around the wall, grabbed by Gorno, centering pass that was just out of the reach of Baker. Skating forward is Fouché.
So the penalty will end. Lakers go 0 for 2 on the penalty power play tonight.
Penalty kill again looking good. They were perfect last night. They'll stay at 2 for 2 for Central Michigan. Now it's out for Flynn. Recently exited his stay in the penalty box. Crosses over the Grand Valley blue line, dump and chase. Now it's Dundas. Delivers for Carey. Lifted, could not be controlled by Petersmark. Out to center, it's Braden Keel. He'll shoot in for Siraki to chase, and it's Davis Ziesmer covering up the puck. I think it's fair to say that Ziesmer has been the less busy of the 2 goaltenders, but when he has faced action, they've been pretty high-quality attempts for Central Michigan.
Yeah, certainly. And the broadcast of today's game is a copyrighted presentation of the American Collegiate Hockey Association, the CMU Club Hockey Network, MAC TV, and Moore Hall Television. No reproduction, retransmission, or other distribution of the descriptions or accounts of this game may take place without the express written consent of the ACHA, CCHN, and MHTV.
So a couple things to address here. The puck just went up out of play, through another hole in the netting above the rink. We lost a second puck that is hanging above the ice surface.
I did not have that on my bingo scorecard for this weekend series. 2 lost pucks forever.
If you smashed the over on how many pucks we were going to lose tonight, then probably a happy man watching this game at home. And as for Devin, man, I think you may have to take up a summer job as an auctioneer. That was superb stuff.
I think so. I mean, look, you got some fun facts here depending on how this game goes. We give a history mark. Hey, I remember that puck when it was flipped into the netting on so-and-so on a December cold day. Oh.
I was just mentioning you. I think Eminem would be jealous of how quickly you read off that ad read.
Yeah, well, I'm from Detroit, so you get a little bit of Marshall Mathers mixture in there, in my blood.
Calvin Keys alongside Slim Shady.
Oh.
Devin Serra as Andrew Siraki will pick it up. Looking to skate it out, meets a roadblock. Keel will lift it ahead. Went off the backside of Siraki, didn't know where it was. Somehow the Lakers keep it in. Grabbed by Mulder, down low. Nice deke to beat Siraki. It's sent out in front. Delayed penalty against Central Michigan. They'll go back to the power play. Grand Valley State, that is. Roughing call signaled. See what happens out of this. It looks like Mulder is a bit up in arms, so we'll have to see what happens. It appears right now that it's Braden Keel making the trek to the box, and roughing is signaled. So right after Central Michigan was able to capture a shorthanded goal on their previous penalty kill and successfully kill it off for Grand Valley, they will go back shorthanded, and the Lakers a chance to try and regain their lead with 11 minutes, 29 seconds left in the second period.
Yeah, that's a costly mistake for another freshman that's just trying to work down low and bang away at it, and unfortunately gets the call right there. Grand Valley getting their another looks, but I mean, CMU's buckled down in the penalty kill. We'll have to see about this chance.
Andrew Mulder behind the goal. Feeds it for Dundas and then gets it back on the left wing. Played across for Gorno, up top. Dundas. Shot was deflected by Nadu. He'll knock down the clearing attempt by Hayes. Good eye-hand coordination.
Oh,
Not
good
a high
work
stick.
by here to kill some time off the clock. They're going to cycle this puck a bit. That's a smart play from Jay Nadeau, not to force this puck down the length of the ice. And look at him again, just pressuring.
Gotta love watching Nadeau out there. Flies around, isn't afraid to play physical, has a great set of hands as well. As this one is carried in by Fouché. Had his stick lifted. Chippewas trying to clear. It's kept in by Nielsen. Braden Nielsen opening up. Fed over. Now down low once more, trying to center that one, Fouché. Instead, it will be cleared out by Nadeau. And a tired Chippewa penalty kill will try and hustle off for a change. Fouché lost his footing. Looks like he's holding his right hip in discomfort. Collided awkwardly with a Chippewa player, and he'll limp off to the bench. Certainly hope he's all right. Key player for the Laker team. Has one of their 2 goals so far in the contest. 35 seconds left on the power play for Grand Valley State. It's Charles Bonser up the near wall. Knocked over by Siraki. Around the kick plate. Regained by Cole Parkhurst for the Lakers. Trying to shake loose from Bottles. Down low for Bonser. Good stick there by Nathan Bottles, and he's off to the races. Hot on the heels of Resnick here. As Resnick lobbying for a hooking call. Bottles will turn out front. A great chance, shorthanded again for Central Michigan. The dogged determination of this penalty kill and their work ethic has been exceptional, Devin.
And exceptional for Nathan Bottles, who already has a goal in this game earlier shorthanded, and he worked over the streaking Grand Valley defender right there, trying to use the body and really just hound him off the puck, and I thought he did a good job. May have gotten away with a minor hook, but nonetheless got a shot off anyway, and that's just so impressive from, again, a scoring leader on this team. He transferred from Arcadia University last year. We know he's one of the most skilled players on the ice, and he showed it right there.
Absolutely. Well, Lakers have looked like the better team 5-on-5, but on the power play they've struggled a little bit. Baker will take this draw against Chevalier. 9:33 left in the second period, just 4 seconds left on the man advantage for the Lakers. They win the draw, play it out. Hayes will deliver it back in. Braden Keelb will get out of jail. And the Chippewas back out to full strength. You'll have to forgive me. Typically working for Adrian College TV on my campus, back here for the holidays as a Mount Pleasant native trying to help out the Central Michigan crew. But I got to drill it into my brain. Chippewas. They play with it in the near corner, taken away by Chevalier. Flynn kept it in. Rychuk gives chase. He'll win the race. Upended, double teamed there by 2 different Lakers. Acquired by Chevalier, couldn't thread it through traffic. Good keep in by Clements. And that time, Ziesmer able to track the puck in the air and hold on for the whistle.
All right, well, obligation to Reagan Cleaves here. It's time for this day in Chippewas history. And boy, I think you're going to like this one, Calvin. In the final game of the semester, Central Michigan fell to Adrian College 3-2 at Martin Ice Arena. Evan Bliss and Michael O'Connor's tallies gave the Bulldogs a 2-0 lead 3 minutes into the second before Aiden Gazdecki's first of the season, with less than 1 second remaining in the frame, cut Adrian's lead 2-1 entering the third, and then Matthew Barrett scored his third to make it 3-1 halfway through the third. CMU's late goal became irrelevant, and the Bulldogs went on to win. And boy, we had a post-game scrum after that one, if you remember, Calvin.
And that is our third puck that has gone up into the rafters and is stuck up there.
Hey, auction sale to any fans inside Martin Ice Arena that can grab one of these pucks for us. We'll get you some from the concession stand, I guess.
That is a hat trick of pucks stuck up in the rafters. You don't see this every day, folks. Now we've got nearly as many pucks that have gotten lodged in the rafters as we do goals in this hockey game. The ratio is 3-4 at the moment. Christopher Martin trying to lift it back in. Porzondik, dogged determination, hounding the puck. Keeps it in. Carroll trying to find it. It'll come along. Gorno on the backhand. Met by Nadeau. Pitchforked ahead. Picked up by Chris Martin. Redirect. And trying to find it. Porzondik. It comes out in front. Bouncing puck that Martin's able to corral. A long shot that just whizzed wide. Johnson. Adrian College transfer will give it back for Ritter. Right pad stop made by Ziesmer.
Wow, he did not see that for a second. That was a very late reaction with the right pad save.
Lots of traffic in front, but Davis Ziesmer still able to make the stop. Martin tried to clear. It's held in. Went off the underside of Lauren Jones' glove awkwardly. Played back out in front. Good opportunities for the Lakers here. As it's Jacob Jansen. Back across. Shot didn't miss the mark by much off the stick of Carson Becks. Another long chance off the left pad of Lauren Jones on the attempt from Jansen once more. Clearing it out is Nadu as Ritter went down to the ice in a heap. Turned over to Nadu. He walks in, patiently waiting for an opportunity, sends it goalward. Left pad saves Ziesmer. Chippewas have done a good job of getting bodies in the lane, making it difficult for the Laker goaltender to track as a hit away from the play on Andrew Siraki. It was Carroll who knocked him over.
Yeah, and I
Johnson,
believe they're going to get him for possibly interference right here because of that one. And, you know, big bodies collecting in front. The puck was kind of loose, streaking in the slot area, and Siraki was trying to get it to it. And it was Jansen preventing, or rather, Owen Carroll preventing him from doing that. So another crucial power play coming up after CMU killed off 2 key penalties. They scored a shorthanded goal. They'll get their second opportunity of the night. And remember, they were 2 for 2 last night, Calvin.
That's the 9th penalty of the season for Owen Carroll. As you predicted, it was interference. Siraki did not have the puck, but was still checked hard. Hayes sends one toward the goal. And Ziesmer will pin it to the Lakerward mark on his chest.
Ben Rydchuk in front looking for the redirection, looking for his 3rd point in 3 straight, and that would be an impressive mark for the senior. But, I mean, much better period for CMU overall, whether it's defensively, offensively, creating turnovers. When they've had opportunities, they've capitalized.
Martin, long shot, loose in front. That one stung Ziesmer. Recovered by Bottles. Tried to put a move on Eric Gall, but it's stolen away. Gall will send a long shot in. Fought off by Jones. Reversed over by Martin over to Hayes. Chippewas were 2 for 2 on the power play last night, looking to try and take their first lead of the hockey game.
They got to be very patient here with the puck. They can't make the pass too quickly.
Rydchuk for the man wearing a C on his sweater, Charlie Hayes. Johnson banks it low. Huge net front battle between Rydchuk and Becks as they're all tangled up with each other. Bottles moving left to right. Dropped it off for Hayes. Long shot. Rydchuk right in front. And it'll be lifted out by the Lakers. They're going to hustle to get a change on the penalty kill. Good work by Grand Valley State to clear out the crease and not allow Rydchuk to wreak havoc right in front of Ziesmer. He loves to be a disturber right in front of opposing goaltenders, doesn't he, Devin?
Oh, I'm certainly. I mean, he's just one of those bodies that just creates havoc. And yeah, we talked about he's been more getting involved in the offense, but he's always been that kind of pest, kind of that. I don't even know who you compare him to at the NHL level, but I mean, he's just impressive all around in front of the net.
Porzondik skating in, turns the corner behind the goal. He's swarmed. Neither team quite able to gain traction on the power play as of yet. Under 20 seconds now left for the Chippewas on the man advantage. 5:20 left to go in the second period.
That one's going to get
nailed from behind.
Yep, that one's going to go.
Daniel Carey is going to be going to the box. Right in the numbers, he hit Andrew Porzondik, and I think we're going to see a short 5-on-3 upcoming.
Yeah, 11 seconds was left, and the penalty originally assessed to Owen Carroll for the interference. But, I mean, man, if this can be a 5-on-3, even for the face-off draw. It's just so crucial for CMU to try and find some muster here with 5:19 left in this period. And boy, if you can find a way now to put this one in the back of the net, get a quick look, offensive shifting, a quick wrist shot past Ziesmer, it'd be massive. I mean, there's no other way to look at it right now. This is a massive point in the hockey game.
Absolutely. 11-second 5-on-3 as Carey now accompanying Carroll in the penalty box for the Lakers. Tough play for the defenseman, trying to play physical and knock the puck off Porzondik, but Porzondik kind of turned right at the last second, and as a result, the Laker defenseman hit him in the numbers. But Grand Valley State able to clear, and that should negate the 5-on-3 chance, albeit a short one. But we still have 1 minute and 50 seconds of power play time. As Bottles with steam, Nathan Bottles circling. Did a little bit of a shoulder fake there. Now slides out front for Martin. He scores. Chippewas have the lead. Christopher Martin playing underneath his older brother, Brennan Martin, the interim head coach, in his second game behind the bench, gets a goal that would make his brother proud.
And reversing the tale that was last night, CMU has scored 3 unanswered goals. What a job by this entire group. Nathan Bottles was the primary carrier of the puck in that one, really circled around the entire offensive zone and looked for Christopher Martin right in that slot area to bang away at it. boy, what a big goal for Christopher Martin. And how about this CMU team? Not to give up, not to give in after that first period was rough for them. They score on the power play. They have scored 3 power play goals this weekend.
And as a defensive group, Devin, it is so hard to track that trailer. You notice the patience from Bottles, and then Christopher Martin from the point kind of slipped into the high slot. Lakers weren't quite able to track him, especially down a man on the penalty kill. And the Chippewa power play continues to keep on rolling. Played back in by Gorno. And like you said, Devin, the roles have reversed. Chippewa scored the first 2 goals yesterday night, and then Lakers answered with 3 unanswered. Now the Chippewas have come back from 2 goals down to score 3 in a row, looking for the 4th. That was Nadu on the doorstep. Johnson gives a bit of a shot to Gorno. Held in by Ritter. High shot fought off by Ziesmer. It's loose in front. What a chance for Johnson.
Johnson just could not get his blade on the ice to finish the play. Boy, CMU, the final 8.5 minutes of this period is buzzing.
Turned over a chance. Lauren Jones, a big save. Denies Owen Petersmark off the turnover. It was a really good play by Gorno, or rather, I think that was Jansen on the other end of the rink to tie up Johnson's stick as the puck was loose out front. Without that defensive play, the Chippewas would have scored their 4th of the night. And then, as we were talking, Petersmark, a brilliant chance just turned over inexplicably by the Chippewa defense. And Lauren Jones able to make the stop. Up ahead for Flynn. 1-on-1. He stood up, a huge hit, fought off by Ziesmer once more, trying to find it.
Wow, holy moly.
Rychuk sliding into the boards with force. He was trying to crash the net and find that loose puck. Collided with Ziesmer, slid into the half wall. My goodness. We get a moment to catch our breath as Flynn got stood up, I think, by Owen Petersmark. And then the chance for Rychuk is Ziesmer having a hard time holding on to the puck there.
And you know what the difference is, Calvin, is, yeah, the passing has been cleaner, but they're playing so much more patiently, especially Nathan Bottles. I feel like he's really been the marquee man of the Chippewa offense to kind of settle them down and say, hey, let's get a real clean play going right here. And the goals they scored have been clean plays. And even when they're not, they're just doing a better job in transition to kind of play Grand Valley style. And now all of a sudden you see the Lakers pinned in their own zone.
3:10 left in the second period. Chippewas were down 2-0. Now they lead 3-2. As dancing in, Parkhurst opens up, fires. Great move to shake loose from Clements, but the right pad from Lauren Jones denies him. Clements trying to glove it down. Turning, firing Parkhurst. I think that went off the knob of Jones' stick once more. He's made a couple of saves like that tonight.
Yeah, he's coming up big. No doubt about it.
Good shot block from Baker. It'll be skated ahead by Rychuk. He weaves forwards. Trying to pinch him off is Resnick, but Rychuk continues to hold on to the biscuit. Stops up, looking to center. That was cut off, and Bex sends it around the boards. Trying to lift it out, but Hayes will glove it down. Fires a shot, was well wide. Now found by Bottles.
Oh, he's got a chance for the wraparound. Oh, man,
Bottles.
Ziesmer was all the way out of his crease trying to get up.
Bottles trying to center. Rychuk wreaking havoc again, tangled up with the Laker defenseman. It'll be skated out of danger by Fouché. Runs into Kiel. Taken by Nathan Bottles. He was a great pick as player to watch. Props to you, Devin. He's been spectacular this afternoon.
I mean, it's just no surprise, right? He's one of the smartest players out on the ice. Just his IQ, his sense, and look, he's got the puck on his stick again.
Finds Miller. Save made by Ziesmer.
And these feeds you're talking about, Calvin, these are not easy to make. You know, they're kind of saucer passes. They're going cross-ice past 2-3 defenders, and he's just making it look easy out there. And, boy, if you're a CMU fan, this is exactly what you expected from an NCAA Division III transfer in Nathan Bottles. Controlling the play, being one of the dominant players on the ice.
We've seen a tangible shift of momentum as it looks to be all Central Michigan after Grand Valley started the game off really strong.
And Braden Keel almost kept this puck in at the line. That would have been still massive, as this Grand Valley group is probably getting a little bit tired as they've been kind of hounded in their own zone the last part of this period.
Found by Nadu, returns it back for his defenseman Keel. Pass was cut off by Gal. He'll bang it forwards. Nadu trying to find it. Johnson looking for the puck. Skating ahead, Mulder. Delayed penalty against Central Michigan. Shot sent out in front by Bonzer after the whistle had gone. Looks as if it'll be Jay Nadu going to the box. See what the call is. I believe it should be roughing. It was right in front of the Laker bench. Referee had a pretty good angle on it, and yes, roughing the signal.
So CMU going back on the penalty kill. They're 3 for 3 on the night in that category after it's been Rychuk, Flynn, Kielb, and now Nadu, the guilty parties for Central, and kind of a costly penalty to take in the last 2 minutes. And again, just reiterating what head coach Brendan Martin talked about, not making silly mistakes in the final part of these periods. And boy, is this an opportunity for Grand Valley to tie up the hockey game now.
CMU head coach Brendan Martin having a heated conversation with the referee. And with 1 minute and 14 seconds left in the second period, Chippewas up 3-2 over the Lakers. Grand Valley State will close out the second frame with an extra skater. Big face-off win, caught up high off the draw was Parkhurst. Gets back up on his feet, looks no worse for wear. Chevalier walking in. Again, no rebound from Lauren Jones. Huge as he holds on to that one and soaks it up.
You just mentioned it, Calvin. The rebound control has been there for Lauren Jones, and he was impressive last night, and he's doing it once again. Stay tuned with us. Calvin Keys will have the intermission report at the second pause of the frame to recap this period that's been much better for CMU, as well as look at some of our professional out-of-town scoreboards. Stay tuned for the intermission report presented by cmichicehockey.com.
Can't wait. Resnick up top, winds, decides not to fire. Chevalier, feed was too far ahead of Bonzer. Parkhurst on the far wall. Biding his time, Bonzer trying to center. Whiffed on the attempt. Martin trying to steal it away from him. Now it's taken by Kamara, backhanded but not out. Good keep in by Dylan Resnick at the point. Resnick backs up, plays it down for Nielsen. Now Bonzer, wrapped around quickly. Chevalier wasn't quite prepared, but hustles to keep it in. Tipped out in front, great chance for Bonzer on the redirect. High shoulder height shot was batted down and went wide, otherwise it could have fooled Lauren Jones.
22 seconds to work with for Grand Valley.
Saucered back, Chevalier a shot, and that one saved by Jones. 15 seconds now left in the period. Bonzer down for Parkhurst.
Brendan Martin yelling to dig deep on the bench.
Siraki trying to clear, but he can't. Resnick spun over for Parkhurst. Up over the goal.
Wow.
3 seconds left on the clock as we get a whistle.
And assistant coach Tyler Koth on the bench for the Chippewas giving his claps, telling his group to dig deep, not give in, not succumb to the easy release that is the slot area. And boy, is Lauren Jones playing honestly out of his mind the last 5 minutes of this one. And I think that's going to do it for the period, they're going to say. There was 5 seconds left on the clock to work with, but I guess they're going to whistle them to the locker rooms anyway.
Pretty interesting turn of events. We had 3 seconds up on the board. Referees blew the whistle. They're talking with Dylan Knox right now, the Grand Valley head coach. If I was the coach of this Laker team, I wouldn't be too happy about it because that's 3 more seconds they could have had as they had built some real momentum on the power play in the offensive zone.
Key face-off or anything, yeah.
But as things stand, it is 3-2. Central Michigan battling back to take the lead going into the second intermission. I'll be back in a few moments' time for our second intermission report here on the CMU Club Hockey Network. Don't go anywhere. Might have to move the camera. And we are back on the CMU Club Hockey Network after 2 periods of play. The Chippewas crawled back in the second to make it a 3-2 lead for Central Michigan heading in to the third and final period of this hockey game. Welcome back, everyone. Calvin Keys here with the second intermission report of what has been a thrilling game. Last night, we saw Central Michigan take a 2-goal lead in the second period, and Grand Valley scored 3 unanswered late in the second and early on in the third to take the lead. This time, Grand Valley fired away with 2 goals early on in the first period, coming from Justin Chevalier, assisted by Sam Gorno, and Noah Fuchsia, assisted by Mulder and Nielsen. That's how things stood into the first intermission. And then here in the second, it has been Clements, Nathan Bottles, and Chris Martin that have helped Central Michigan retake the lead. Or rather, Clements' goal came late in the second period. But nonetheless, Chippewas were 2 goals down. Now they lead by 1. Worthy of noting, Brandon Clements with a goal and an assist so far in the hockey game. Those are his first 2 points of the season. Got his first ACHA goal earlier on. Nathan Bottles, another noteworthy performer for Central Michigan, also has a goal and an assist. Had a phenomenal tip-in on a shorthanded odd-man rush, assisted by Andrew Porzondik. And then he had a nice feed to Christopher Martin to give the Chippewas the lead on the power play. Special teams has been a strength for Central Michigan, both so far in this game and yesterday night's game, the 4-3 overtime loss. Chippewas are 1 for 3 on the power play today. They were 2 for 2 on the power play last night, and on the penalty kill, they were 1 for 1 last night, and so far, they are 3 for 3. They'll have to continue on the kill to start the third period, as I believe it's Jay Nadu still in the box. So still some work to do, but they're in the lead rather, 3-2 over Grand Valley State. For the Lakers, they've looked like the better team on 5-on-5 throughout the game. Slowly but surely, Central Michigan has gained traction even at 5-a-side, but the Laker power play has really sputtered. Chippewas have done a really good job of killing, and Lauren Jones, soaking up almost every puck that comes his way, hasn't conceded many rebounds. The mantra for interim head coach of Central Michigan, Brendan Martin, going into this game was eliminate turnovers. There's still been some mistakes in our own end that have given Grand Valley State some opportunities to strike, but most notably, the Central Michigan defense needs to make sure that they pick up their assignments in the defensive zone, and also Grand Valley State has scored both of their goals off the rush in transition, so need to continue with the stick-on-puck defending and close down players as they skate in. So far, in terms of our Outer Town scoreboard, the NHL, multiple games going on today. The only one currently in progress, the Avalanche tied up with the St. Louis Blues currently. That one's scoreless. We'll be back for the third period of action in just a moment on the CMU Club Hockey Network. Thanks for tuning in to the second intermission report. Apologies for some technical difficulties. The third period puck drop just getting underway to start the final 20 minutes of hockey. Chippewas leading over the Lakers 3-2. Lakers on the power play at the moment for 30 more seconds, and we will have a goal recap in just a moment once we get a stoppage in play. This is controlled by Fuchsia. Plays it down low. for Gorno. Back for Fouché again. Gorno up top. Finds Chris Dundas. Weak floppy pass for Petersmark. Returns for Dundas. He'll skate forwards. Tipped in front. What a chance. Lauren Jones makes the save on Chevalier. And Chippewas just able to kill off that penalty by the skin of their teeth.
Another massive save for Lauren Jones, and it can't be attested that he has been wonderful tonight. He has made a lot of stops on the penalty kill. He's come up big when there's really been a breakdown in defensive coverage for CMU. And, you know, if he keeps playing like this, I don't know how much longer, you know, CMU can go without scoring.
Julian Johnson skating up through center. Porzondik grabs it, fires. I think that went off the outside of the goalpost. Net seems to be dislodged. We get a whistle. If you're just joining us, Grand Valley was up 2-0 for most of the first period, and then it was Brandon Clements who scored his first ever ACHA goal to make it a 2-1 game heading into the first intermission. From there, Nathan Bottles and Chris Martin have given the Chippewas a lift. They currently have a 3-2 lead over the Lakers, who have gotten goals from Justin Chevalier and Noah Fouché.
And how about Brendan Clements, the freshman, getting his first points of the season tonight, and now 2 on the night. And Nathan Bottles, who's really been controlling this CMU offense, has been setting the tone. You know, he's been flying everywhere, setting up the plays, dishing it out, and really having the finishing ability that we so know he is complementing to this offense when he came here and transferred.
Yeah, Bottles almost seems like the conductor, the way he's kind of controlling the orchestra for Central Michigan on offense. Really seems to have the puck on the string at some moments. Dylan Resnick spins away from pressure, got hooked a bit there by Porzondik. Andrew Porzondik trying to clear it out. Brandon Clements with a goal and an assist so far.
Nice
will
flip
lift it down
out of the zone, and this one could come back for the icing. Oh, Hayden Flynn was almost there. It's a good call, but Brandon Clements, we don't talk enough about him as a stay-at-home defenseman. He's so good at clearing the puck out of the zone in the corners, especially when pucks are deflected away from Lauren Jones' initial stop. He's always been that steady presence to keep them out of the zone, and that time just too far for the icing, but a good work for the freshman. He's having a wonderful game.
Gal wins it back quickly for the shot from Mulder that didn't get through traffic. May have been blocked by Clements. Doing it all here tonight. Resnick crosses over the center ice line. Taken by Clements once more. Trying to weave away from traffic. It looked like he hooked Bonzer.
Yeah, that one not coming. The referee's letting him play with it.
Mulder played across. It went off Clements.
Wow, that one, Calvin, that one nearly went off the left blade of Clements inside the net. It was Lauren Jones just catching it in the corner of his eye, falling down on the play. And I don't think the Lakers really were ever set up. They were trying to get this puck to the slot area and wrap around, but no one was there to stuff it home and be ready for it. What a weird play that was. Just kind of broken, but, man, it almost resulted in a tie hockey game.
Certainly a lot to digest on that recent turn of events. It looked like Bonzer was hooked from behind, thought Grand Valley would go to the power play, but no arm up from the referee, so we stay at even strength.
Oh, no, bad giveaway by Austin Ritter.
Something that Chippewas really want to eliminate in their own zone, and then as you said, Bonzer slid it across the slot. It went off the skate of Clements unawares, and luckily Lauren Jones was able to track it down. Lakers going to work in the offensive zone, taken away by Ritter. Thought that was kept in. Would have been a beautiful play made by Bex, who reached out with the right palm to grab it and bring it down, but they say it went just outside the blue line, so we get a whistle. That was a lot better shift for Grand Valley. Just their determination, pursuing the puck, making life difficult for the Chippewa defense and generating chances.
And it looked a lot like what it was in that first period. They were basically able to, hold the zone a lot better and cycle the puck. And, credit to this offensive group, head coached by Dylan Knox and Matthew Sikosyn and Ron Clark. They've really done a good job of adjusting. They did a lot of adjustments last night after they were outplayed in the second, kind of like how this game's going too. And, for both sides, we're in a very, very similar spot to what it was last night, albeit kind of the opposite story, right? Grand Valley was the one coming from behind, and now in this game, it's the Chippewas who have done that.
Chevalier looking to center. Feed was just a bit too far out of the wheelhouse of Dundas. Chippewas play it out to center. Now for CMU, the goal here is to not let the same script write itself. You don't want to let Grand Valley get that tying goal here in the third. Have to buckle down and play good defense in your own end. Bottles will play it down low. Out of the net to play it, Davis Ziesmer. Chevalier Held in by Kamara momentarily. Mullen with the biscuit. Bit of a blind pass ahead that was stolen. A quick shot by Kielb. Sticked aside, angled away by Ziesmer with little trouble. Chevalier, rink wide feed. Speeding in are the Lakers into the offensive zone. A shot from a tough angle that was blockered away on the chance from Sam Mullen. Kamara looking for it. He was tangled up with Carey. Gets some help from Johnson. Looking rink wide. A picture-perfect feed up for Porzondik.
Gets a chance
with
with Nadu.
Puck just skipped under the stick of Jay Nadu. They're a dangerous combination. Jay Nadu and Andrew Porzondik, a couple guys that were still on the team back in my junior year of high school when I was doing some of the radio calls with you, Devin.
Yeah.
For the Central Michigan team.
I don't know about you. They don't look any worse for wear than when we first saw them as sophomores. Just able to be so controlled with the puck, and that time a rare miscue from those two. But, I mean, just so good at working with their just on-ice ability and stick handling. It's pretty impressive to see them just develop as players and turn into these perennial goal scorers.
Yeah, Porzondik and Nadu were bottom six guys back in the day. Now that they're upperclassmen, they've been key contributors. Porzondik with 25 points this season. Rychuk circling. Back for Hayes, another veteran on this Chippewa team. Rychuk retrieves. Hayes. Now Flynn. Brandon Clements almost out of his reach, but he's able to play it and finds Rychuk below the goal line. Hayes, one-time drive. Didn't get through traffic. Grabbed by Rychuk. He'll circle behind the net. Gets a shove from a Laker player. Trying to steal it away is Jansen. Pops out for Clements, and sliding in with a great shot block was Carroll. Didn't get all of it, but enough to steer the shot wide.
Good cycle here from CMU the last 2 minutes. They've really held Grand Valley and their Stones in their own zone, and they still can't get it out.
Absolutely. Baker with a heavy hit on Carey. Held in by Clements once more. You shall not pass, says Brandon Clements. Won't let the puck outside the blue line. Doing excellent work, upended from behind as a Chippewa player in front. Looks as if that was Tyler Martin that took a stumble.
Yeah, he was trying to go backhand on the play right there. Look out.
What a move put on by Fouché.
Good
but he turned
defensive
it over.
work there by Tyler Martin.
Bottles, Saraki, along with Martin, trying to get there, and a miscue.
Yeah, just not enough patience right there. Saraki's looking for the one-touch pass to Martin. He's just not far enough on the play to get there. Man, that could have been dangerous.
Would have been in on the odd man rush had they connected. Martin trying to get it out, but it's held in by the Laker defense. Resnick holding the blue resolutely. Martin chips it high in the air. Glove down by Bottles, trying to find it in his skates, and he does. Nathan Bottles working in, tried to skip past the defender Gorno. He'll lay a heavy hit on him. We see another puck, but going up into the stanchion and the rafters. This one will come down, though, much to our producer Reagan Cleave's dismay. Shout out to our crew, by the way. Derek Steele running the camera.
Very
Reagan Cleave's
dedicated,
producing.
yep.
I appreciate them letting me get on the call here today.
Quick turnaround. It was less than 24 hours, guys. We got done here just around the 10 o'clock mark, and then we came back here lickety-split this morning at 12:30, or afternoon, I guess you'd call it. But, yep, so just credit to the CCHN staff who's done such a good job this first semester, and, you know, all of the supporters on CCHN. We've had such good viewer counts this year, and we really, really appreciate all of the kind words and support we get every week for these.
It's really amazing for those of you tuning in, as Porzondik will grab this one down low, trying to center. I was going to say, this broadcast run by students. Reagan Cleaves and Devin Sarah running this pretty much single-handedly, not getting run by the school or anything like that. They get equipment from Central Michigan, but they're in charge of orchestrating the broadcasts, getting all the equipment, making sure it happens. So they do an excellent job, and props to them.
And, you know,
we get a whistle. We got a penalty coming up to Cole Parkhurst, and it will be for roughing.
So another key power play coming up for the Chippewas. They're 1 for 3 on the night. They've scored a shorthanded goal, a power play goal. It was one of our keys to the game, Calvin. The special teams had to be good for Central, and up to this point they have been.
Jay Nadu taking this face off. Looks as if it's against Eric Gal. And this will start off the 2-minute power play for the Chippewas. 12:44 left in the third. They lead by a goal. It's 3-2 Central Michigan. Trying to pull off an upset. Bottles down low for Nadu. Now Chris Martin. Hayes high backhand saucer. That was batted down by Gal. Arguably could have been a high stick. It was certainly close. The measuring stick for that being the shoulder height of the player who does knock the puck down. We'll continue on. Chris Martin rimmed around the kick plate. Taken by Rychuk. Smart move to shepherd it back to the point and allow the power play rather to get set up. Charlie Hayes, rink wide, Bottles back across. They score. How do you do, Jay Nadeau? 4-2 Central Michigan. Another big power play marker. Their man advantage unit has been buzzing all weekend.
Their second power play of the night and their fourth of this weekend series. Nathan Bottles, who else connects to Jay Nadeau for his third point of the night? You know, we talked about how he controlled the play, how he was doing such a good job just manhandling this offense and taking control, and he finds the backdoor feed right there for Nadeau, who makes no mistake about finishing the play. That is a massive lead for CMU, now up 4-2 in this hockey game. And boy, it's still not over, but the implications of this one will be massive as CMU has yet to beat a ranked opponent this year.
Still 11 minutes and 48 seconds left to work. So we got another penalty coming up. What is it this time? It appears it'll be against Grand Valley.
Yeah, it looks like the mistakes are starting to mount up. The frustration for the Lakers, who controlled this game for the first half and now have seen a 2-0 lead evaporate and allowing 4 unanswered goals for the Chippewas. And boy, credit to them just stepping up here at home and not giving in, not giving up. And now for this one, the referees are going to send off number 25, Eric Gall.
I want to say the call was boarding against Eric Gall. So it'll be another power play for Central Michigan right after they recorded a power play marker. Jay Nadeau back out on the ice. Scored a big third period goal yesterday to force overtime. Today he scores to give Central Michigan a 2-goal lead. It's the most dangerous lead in hockey, so Central Michigan will need to try and advance the margin in this one. Bottles walking in, shooting. Looks as if Ziesmer may have got a piece. Laker player knocked down low. Rychuk emerges with the biscuit. Left for Bottles. Still Nathan Bottles sends one goalward. Jay Nadeau, rinse and repeat. 2 power play goals back to back for Jay Nadeau. Makes it 5-2 Central Michigan. Their special teams has been something else.
We talked about how important it would be. CMU is capitalizing on every chance they get. 3 power play goals, and once again, it's Nathan Bottles and Jay Nadeau back-to-back goal chances that they capitalize on. CMU leads by 3, and boy, we don't want to speak about controlling this game, but they really have just taken over in this third period and amounted themselves as, hey, we're going to play our style of hockey and we're going to dominate. And the Chippewas absolutely emerging right now as the favored team.
So penalty woes continue to trouble Grand Valley as Chippewas strike again on the power play. It's 2 goals, I believe, within a minute's time on the power play for Jay Nadeau. But let it be said that Central Michigan has had some trouble holding on to leads in the third period. So they've still got a lot of work to do as Ziesmer will cover up.
Unofficially, those goals coming within, as you mentioned, just over 35 seconds of each other. Calvin, it is, from your perspective, this has to be so impressive from a team that has had trouble, as you mentioned, against these formidable foes where they've had leads and they've let the opponent come back, and now it's the opposite. They're taking it to the Lakers and they're pressuring them on all facets. And this Grand Valley team, when they've lost games this year, it's come on the special teams. And boy, there's not much more to say. CMU's just capitalizing on their chances.
Well, still plenty of time left for this game's plot to change a bit, but looking good for Central Michigan at the moment. Siraki will play it in. Chippewas up 3. They've now scored 5 unanswered goals in this hockey game. Started off late in the second. From there, the parade down the Chippewa bench has continued. Keel delivers a body check to Parkhurst. Takes a bit of a late shot. It's kept in at the point by Resnick. Jones finds it through traffic, makes the save, and holds on. And now Parkhurst getting into it with Camara. I think a big point of emphasis for Central Michigan is going to be to not take any penalties late in the game. I think Grand Valley's going to try and draw some calls here late on, but Chippewas have to stay out of the box.
Yeah, they do. And, it's the repeat offenders that they're going to be watching, and that's Ben Rydchuk, Braden Keel. But in front of that especially, Grand Valley is always going to bang away at it. They're going to look for that easy call. And what did you make a comment about Neymar earlier? I don't know. We'll see if it comes out this game.
Dylan Resnick will go back to grab this puck in his own end. Resnick.
The World Cup going on currently.
Nielsen. Yeah, looking forward to next. I think we have a bit of a hiatus till Tuesday, but really good games so far. You guys were talking about it on the broadcast yesterday. Resnick grabs this puck, pressured by Porzondik. Slid over, rink wide. Resnick again, a guy who's logged a lot of minutes for this Grand Valley team. He's looked good. It'll be touched by Jones, so no icing, as I think a Laker player got a piece of it. A big shove given by Julian Johnson. He's going to take a penalty.
Yep.
Nielsen down low. Hayes standing him up. Charlie Hayes gets pushed in the back. He's lobbying that should be a call against the Laker player. Gives a bit of a whack to Chevalier, but Chippewas will be going shorthanded as Johnson makes the trudge to the box.
Yeah, again, an uncanny penalty. You just mentioned they can't be taking bad penalties late in this game with a lead like this. And Johnson just working behind the net, just tried to out physical his man by pushing him down to the ice and draws the call. And so they're
Ben Rydchuk, it looks like he's going to go to the box right now. That's what the referee's saying.
And they're going to motion a cross check.
What is going on? Rydchuk came out of the bench. It looked like they were gesturing that he was going to go into the box, and then nothing comes out of it. Scary moment. Thought we were going to see a 5-on-3 for Grand Valley, but it will just be a 5-on-4 as they start off on the man advantage. Shot from up top. They score. A ripper from Owen Peters, Mark, makes it a 2-goal game. Grand Valley finally able to strike pay dirt on the power play.
Boy, did this shot even hit anyone in front. Petersmark goes blocker side past Lauren Jones, top cheese, and honestly, probably just a great shot from the point. Get a quick face-off win, get the defense sliding a bit, kind of alleviate some of that screen and pressure, and just a clean shot beats Lauren Jones cleanly, and just like that, it's a 2-goal hockey game. We just mentioned a bad penalty leads to a goal for Grand Valley, so the Lakers not out of this one just yet.
Discipline is key, and playing good defense. Defense comes first, up by 2 in the third period. It's got to be the emphasis for the Chippewas. I love the shot selection from Owen Petersmark from the point. Went low blocker, through traffic, difficult shot for a goaltender to stop. Pinpoint accuracy as well, as this one is picked up by Mulder, working out front. That's shrugged off by Lauren Jones again. Miller trying to clear, just able to get it out. Trying to shoot it back ahead is Jansen. Miller being rubbed out on the boards, taking some shots from Gal. Ritter will grab it. Looking ahead quickly for Saraki. I think he was just past the center ice line, so no icing on the play. Johnson grabs it. Dealt back for Porzondik. That deflected off of a Laker player, but just wide to the right of Ziesmer. Skating forward with the puck. Gorno looking for the stretch feed. Instead, Hayes will intercept. This is directed onwards deep into Laker territory. Grabbed by Jacob Jansen. Spins away from the pressure of Porzondik. Onto the near wall. They'll look rink wide. Here's Bonzer. Bonzer, plenty of room to meander into the offensive zone. He'll slap it in. Brandon Clements, been one of the best players for the Chippewas here today. Good breakout for CMU. Julian Johnson lifted in. This one is fielded by Ziesmer and holds on for the whistle with 7:50 left in the third period. Chippewas leading over the Lakers 5-3.
I like the movement by Johnson to kind of flip this puck onto the goaltender, create the whistle, and allows for a face-off opportunity that, look, if you're CMU, if you can win this draw and control some sort of cycle, you can tire out this Grand Valley defense.
Rydchuk swooping in off the draw to grab the puck. He'll look back to the point for Kamara. Finds Rydchuk once more as Kamara was knocked over. Hard check delivered by Owen Carroll. And Carroll has it now, just out of his reach as Kielb will take it away. Turning ahead, Braden Kielb rips it in for his forwards to chase. Rydchuk is there. Takes a shoulder check from Mullen. Glove down by Baker. He'll keep it in. Shot is errant. Kielb kept in on the backhand. Flynn behind the goal. Hayden Flynn goes down to the ice in a heap. Played up ahead. This is John Livingston. Skating forwards. Finds it in the slot. Good defensive play by Kielb to break up the chance. Now this one tipped dangerously. Goes against the blue plane, or across rather. That was redirected by Carroll. Tired legs on the ice for Grand Valley as they try to change. Now Central Michigan will do the same. Picked up below the goal line. Pass far ahead from Bex. Found Fouché, but he wasn't quite able to handle the feed. Reset for Carson Bex again. Parkhurst has the stick tied up by Bottles. Bottles and Sarakian hard on the forecheck. Resnick will grab it, backhanded forward. Martin, a couple of good poke checks to keep the puck in the offensive zone for CMU. Back over to the near side, knocked down by Fouché. Has one of the Lakers' 3 goals already. Trying to turn the corner on Martin. Takes a cross check in the back. And that'll be another Central Michigan penalty.
Yeah,
Chris Martin for
one.
cross-checking.
Christopher Martin trying to work in against Noah Fouché, and he did a good job, I would say, drawing that after they were working close to the half wall. Martin got a little bit too physical with them, and still on his knees is Fouché, who, took a pretty bad one right there. And now for Christopher Martin, that's another bad penalty for Central Michigan. 6:10 to go in this hockey game. They've got to find a way to stay composed. They're 4 for 5 on the penalty kill tonight, and 5 out of the last 8, or the total 8 goals in this game have been either power play or shorthanded. So both these teams taking advantage of the special teams. So again, a massive moment in this hockey game. Can Central Michigan hold this penalty kill?
Turned over. Nadeau looking for the hat trick as it was played awkwardly by Ziesmer. Tried to bank it off the wall. Nadeau got there but missed the net. Had an empty goal to shoot at. Nearly a crazy turn of events. Clements hit high after the puck was gone. Owen Petersmark lowering the shoulder on him. Justin Chevalier skating over the Chippewa blue line. Chevalier working in. He's so dangerous. Have to look out for him on the power play that is finally gaining traction for Grand Valley. Looking promising for them as they get set up. Petersmark, blocker saved by Jones. Nadeau digs it free for Porzondik. Banks it away. Penalty kill will switch quickly for Central Michigan. Dundas skates it in. Wraps it around the dasher board. Chevalier digging away at it. Taken by Petersmark. Skating away with it now is Bottles. Trying to kill some clock on the penalty kill. 50 seconds left in the Laker power play as Bottles will pressure in. Ziesmer forced to cover up, and that's really meaningful, Devin, because the more time you can spend in Grand Valley zone, the better, and now they're going to have a face-off deep in their own end.
Yeah, and Bottles did a smart job flipping that puck to the right area, right off the end boards, close to the net, forces Ziesmer to play it and draw that whistle. And again, what a night for Nathan Bottles. 3 points, a goal and 2 assists, and assisted on the 2 most recent ones by Nadeau on the power plays. And 48 seconds, 4:58, another big face-off, and Johnson's got to win it. And Bottles, even shorthanded, they already have a shorthanded goal. They can be dangerous in this chance.
Face-off tied up. Resnick will go in to grab it. Has plenty of space, so the blue liner will skate ahead. Resnick weaving in, has some help with him for Parkhurst, knocked away by Siraki. And he's able to clear, ramped up off the stick of the defenseman Resnick. 35 seconds left on the Grand Valley power play. We've got 4:40 left in the hockey game. Resnick, once again, plays it forward for Braden Nielsen. Nielsen cutting in, shot didn't quite get through. Parkhurst now, left it for Resnick, turned over to Baker, and maybe a break here for Ben Rychuk. Rychuk with plenty of room to work, one-on-one, tries to slide it through the 5-hole of Ziesmer, who says no.
Boy, Ben Rychuk looking for his second point of this hockey game. He tried to go, as you mentioned, 5-hole right there, short side. But, man, I mean, we're closing in on time now where CMU, you got to think the power play hasn't worked for Grand Valley. We'll await maybe a goaltender pull here last 4:13. And, Calvin, just the third period, CMU just really opened up their offense. They seem to play more offensive defense by taking the pressure and not putting their foot off the gas. And that's been really the key to this one. And I'm sure Brendan Martin, the new interim head coach for the Chippewas, has stressed that.
Yep, as Hayes sends that one out into the bench. The old saying goes, the best defense is a good offense. So since Central Michigan has been on the attack for most of this period, haven't provided many chances. Lakers finally got a power play marker to make it a 2-goal game. 4 minutes and 6 seconds left. Can CMU hold on? We'll find out. Porzondik stealing it away, dodges a check. What a move there. Hayes wires one, jumping up to shrug it off was Ziesmer.
Boy, he looked like the Super Mario game move right there, just off of both skates. And I don't blame that kind of shot. I like the selection of it. You know, you got the defense shifting, maybe screening their goaltender, and Ziesmer's been a little bit off edge tonight on some of these shots. So
looked good on that one. Tracked it really well. Another right pad save there. Ziesmer. Nadeau collides hard with the Laker player. He'll be going to the box. Ziesmer coming out of his crease to give a shot to Nadeau.
yeah, he's tying it up there with Bryce Ball for the Lakers, and didn't like the initial shot he took from Nadeau. And this is another one of those bad penalties. Look, 3:41 to play. They need every second they can get, and Nadeau frustrated after the play, going after him, and he's going to serve for it.
Don't want to give Grand Valley more opportunities on the power plays. They scored a couple of chances ago. Nadeau back to the box again. Grand Valley back to the power play now.
And Nadeau, who's had a really good game at this point, 2 goals, the most recent ones for Central, and
yeah, Nadeau was called for roughing.
got to lock down defensively. Do not allow anything in the slot area. They got to clog up that middle.
Gorno over for Petersmark on the right wing, trying to center. Cut off by Clements. Gives the puck a ride around the boards, just able to stay in. It's on edge. Petersmark feeding over for Chris Dundas. Surveys his options. He'll give to Fouché. Back up top, Dundas at the blue line. Fouché walking in on the left wing, skied it over. Dundas just able to keep it in. Good play by the Grand Valley defenseman. Dundas once more. Gorno walking in, firing. Again, it's Watt. And again, kept in by Chris Dundas on the far side. Petersmark. Minute 12 left on the power play for Grand Valley. 2:50 left in the hockey game. Petersmark walking in, shooting. He scores. Owen Petersmark again on the power play from the point. And it is a 1-goal hockey game.
Wow, same place, same time. Petersmark capitalizing on that power play, and it looked like Justin Chevalier almost, yeah, got the redirect there. But I mean, still, what worked by Grand Valley to cycle this puck through the zone. They were able to keep Central clogged in the middle, and they allowed the shot, an easy one from the point. And once again, it beats Lauren Jones. And we just talked about it, not shooting yourself in the foot with these penalties. And now, all of a sudden, Grand Valley has 2 power play goals in the night, 2 for 7. And the last, now 6 of the 9 goals in this game have come either shorthanded or on the power play.
Well, therein lies the problem, giving up 7 chances on the power play. Chance in front for Miller. Scramble in front of the Laker net. Great chance. This is going to set up a nail-biting final 2.5 minutes of hockey. Chippewas lead by just a goal, and maybe a break for Justin Chevalier. Out of his reach, Jones will cover.
He gets hit hard.
Lauren Jones after the whistle. That's going to draw a crowd.
They're going to whistle that no goal because of the contact to Jones, who got hit by Chevalier on the breakaway attempt. And, yeah, they're going to call that whistle all day. And Grand Valley's arguing the call, but they ran into the goaltender, Jones, who was making the diving play to scoop that puck up. Didn't actually get it. It was still loose in the crease, but now they're going to talk about it. The initial referee waving this goal off, so I don't think there's any way you can overturn this.
Well, the reason why the puck was loose after the initial shot from Chevalier, Jones had it covered, and then he speared him with his stick, which is not allowed. Once the goaltender has it covered, can't reach in like that. Gave a hard shove. Jones in some discomfort. Huge chance for the Lakers. Come up a little bit short. I was surprised we didn't see a bit of a scrum in the aftermath there. Things really settled down. I think that's just the discipline that Brendan Martin, the Chippewa interim head coach, is preaching to his guys. Late on in the game, they can't afford to be shorthanded again. They've seen how it's resulted on past power plays for Grand Valley. But cooler heads prevailed that time. Resnick gave it over for Bex, then got it back. Chevalier Expect to hear his name called a lot in these closing seconds, or minutes rather. He's a big part of this team. He's come through. No penalty called there. Julian Johnson tripped up a Laker player. My goodness. Chippewas dodge a bullet. Grand Valley crowd in attendance up in arms. Ritter trying to lift it. He hit the light fixture. Look out.
They've hit about everything in this building today, Calvin, with the pucks. How many we lost today? 3, and now we've hit a light post. We've hit a speaker, I believe. Boy.
Lots of pucks going up into the atmosphere.
So now they're going to take a timeout on this one, and we're going to take a break as well. Stay with us. Final 2 minutes of the hockey game coming up here on CCHN.
Back at the Martin Ice Arena in Mount Pleasant, Michigan. This has been a wild game to say the least. Grand Valley scored the first 2 goals of the hockey game in the first. Chippewas answered. They scored 5 unanswered to go up 5-2. Since then, it has been 2 unanswered goals for the Lakers. Sets up a 5-4 hockey game with 1:42 left in the third period. Face off at center ice out of the Grand Valley timeout. You get the feeling as soon as they establish offensive zone possession, they will pull their goalie and get an extra skater out there.
You've got to play really disciplined hockey here. They can't make any bad mistakes in this final 2 minutes. It's what Brendan Martin's preached all season up to this point.
Hayes battling for it down low. Net is empty for Grand Valley. 6 skaters on the ice for the boys in blue. Chippewas clear it down. Should be icing. Puck was on edge, rolled all the way down, and the faceoff will come back in the CMU zone. Buck 11 left in the hockey game.
Boy, everything that's plagued the Chippewas this season is coming to fruition, and I mean holding leads, giving up bad penalties, not winning the faceoffs. One of those 3 things has to be corrected right here. Either a faceoff draw win, or you got to block a shot and get this one down the length of the ice. It's time to close this hockey game out for CMU.
Noah Fouché to take the draw against Nathan Bottles. One of the biggest faceoffs of the game so far, and Grand Valley wins it. Up to the point for Gorno. Chevalier back for Sam Gorno on the far wall. Stick check coming in from Hayes, collided with the referee. Down low, Dundas. Calling for the puck is Fouché. Kept in by Jansen. Battled for down low. Chippewas desperately trying to clear it. This one chipped high in the air. Petersmark not quite able to keep it in. 45 seconds left to go. Petersmark has the last 2 goals for Grand Valley on the power play. Played in by Dundas on the far wing. 35 seconds. Clements.
Got to get back. There's wide open ice right here.
Centered, a chance. Blocked down front. Hayes trying to swipe it away. Huge right pad save. Lauren Jones in tight. Trying to clear it out.
25 seconds.
Getting it out, Siraki. Andrew Siraki off to the races, to the empty net. They score with 18 seconds left. It's Andrew Siraki. And it looks like the Chippewas have pulled away. They get the empty net goal, make it a 6-4 game.
Before this weekend, Andrew Siraki had 8 goals in 4 games. He was coming back 7. He was one of the breakout freshmen of this team. He comes up big in the biggest moment and gets the empty net goal. And now CMU, barring a miracle comeback, is going to have their first ranked opponent victory of the season. They were 0-4-2 up to that point before. And boy, would this be massive, not only for the MCHC implications, but their national implications.
Kamara.
Taking down the number 15 team in the nation.
In the neutral zone. Daniel Carey has it. 5 seconds to go now. Grand Valley plays it in the Chippewa zone, and that will do it. Central Michigan takes down the number 15 ranked team in the country, the Grand Valley State Lakers. Tempers flaring near the Chippewa blue line in the aftermath. It's Brennan Martin's first victory as the head coach of the Central Michigan Chippewas, and a massive win. National ranking implications, MCHC conference implications, as you mentioned, Devin, but a huge victory for the Central Michigan Chippewas. They hold on to seal the 6-4 W. Amazing win all around. Great efforts. Nathan Bottles and Brandon Clements at the forefront. Lauren Jones making some clutch saves down the stretch. What are your final thoughts from this one, Devin?
Well, Reagan, we're going to talk about it, Calvin, out of the break in the postgame show, but wow, just overall impressive. The heart and the will from this CMU squad that was down 2-0 early in the game. They didn't give up. They didn't give in. They scored 4 unanswered to that point and put this game away, where they honestly have been waiting to close a game out like this in a while. And boy, just a very impressive win. This is their biggest win of the season by far.
As the Chippewas salute the crowd, we will head to a commercial break. Central Michigan wins it 6-4. We'll have our thoughts post-game after the break. Stay with us.
Welcome to the Postgame Show presented by CMHIceHockey.com after the Central Michigan Chippewas hold on to upset the number 15 ranked Grand Valley State Lakers, and I'm joined by number 51, Brandon Clements, who scored his first ACHA goal of his career and notched the assist. He gets a game puck right there. Brandon, congratulations on your first goal and the win. Talk to me about just the way you guys fought back in this game. You were down 2-0 early. You're able to score 4 unanswered against a really good Laker team. Just talk to us about the win.
We know we had it in us. We were up yesterday 2-0, and we blew it, and we know they can blow it too. So we just knew if we played hard, we could beat these guys, and that's what we did.
Your coach talked about limiting the mistakes and turnovers and really putting together a full 60 minutes. You guys had a rocky start to the game and then a great second period and a great way to finish. How important is it to finish this game after you've had so many leads kind of fall away on you?
It's very important. Like you said, like we blew a ton of leads before in the past, but now we're learning how to finish games, and it's going to be important going to playoffs and nationals, hopefully, and we'll win some more games like this. Be fun to watch.
The first time you beat a ranked opponent this season, you were 0-4-2 up to this point, and the first time you've split a series with the team up to the point in this year. Brandon, congratulations. One final note going forward now. What does this do just for the dynamic of this team? A brand new head coach, a brand new kind of system you guys are working with. You're heading into a Miami showcase in the new year. Talk about how important this is going forward in your season.
This was very important. Like we have a break now, so we're carrying this momentum into break. We're all going to get better over break, keep training, and we're going to come back in Ohio, like you said, and we're going to win all 3.
Yeah. Hopefully, right?
Yeah.
Get healthier. You get Connor Morgan back, Isaac Gibbs, Kyle Chapman, hopefully, and maybe even Owen Campbell.
Hopefully.
Congratulations on the win and your
much.
first goal. That was Brandon Clements. Stay with us, folks. We'll have more for the postgame show presented by CMHIceHockey.com. Central Michigan 6, Lakers 4.
Hello and welcome back to the CMU Club Hockey Network as we have our post-game coverage here coming up. Calvin Keys, Devin Sarah. Devin, how are we feeling after that monstrous 6-4 win over number 15 ranked Grand Valley State?
No pun intended, fire up, Chips. This was the biggest win of the season for this CMU squad by far. They started the year 6-0. They had a rough patch, losing 6 of their next 8. They went on the road against some tough opponents, Notre Dame. They played ranked opponents, Saginaw Valley State, and could not close out the game against them after leading 3-0. This is massive just because of the way the season's been up and down. And you question coming into this the coaching move. Was it the right decision to release Tyler Cataline and replace him with Brendan Martin? The first time CMU split a weekend series and the first time they beat a ranked opponent. And I'll tell you what, they did it on the special teams. We talked so much in the pregame about how the special teams were going to be the factor in this game. It was going to be the way that they would win this game, and boy, did they not disappoint. 3 for 5 tonight. They had 5 power play goals this weekend series.
That's 5 power play goals on the weekend, Devin. That's pretty
wonderful.
impressive. 2 for 2 last
numbers.
night, 3 for 5 today, as you said. And the penalty kill looked good as well. They gave up 2 late power play goals against Grand Valley State, but they were able to hold on. You talked about in past games this season having some troubles holding on to 2 and 3 goal leads. It got a little dicey there at the end with some of the power play momentum that the Lakers got going. It's a little bit of poor discipline. I'm sure that's something that the Chippewas will want to fix moving forward. But overall, I'd say CMU played a pretty complete 60 minutes and a huge come-from-behind victory against a ranked opponent.
100%. And taking a look at our players to watch recap, Angie Porzondik had 1 assist on the night, but he was all over the ice, along with Nathan Bottles and Jay Nadeau. Bottles himself had a goal and 2 assists. Boy, was he ever probably the MVP of this Central Michigan squad, besides, I'd say, Lauren Jones even. He had a terrific game. On Grand Valley side, Chevalier had 2 goals, one of those on the power play, and then Bex didn't get on the score sheet. And so our players to watch, we picked them right, Calvin.
That's all you, Dev. I can't take credit for that. That was all you.
It was a team effort here at CCHN for it. But, I mean, just wonderful, wonderful job from not just the top 6 forwards, but this entire Central Michigan group.
Yeah, it was a great performance all the way through the lineup for Central Michigan. And we were talking about our keys to the game, trying to lock down in the final minute of periods. Did give up 2 late goals to Grand Valley on the power play, but able to hold on to that 1-goal lead, and then ultimately Siraki iced the game with that empty netter.
Yeah, absolutely. And taking a look kind of at the recap of just that third period alone, there was a ton of action. We came out of the break, CMU was leading, I believe, 3-2? And then from there on, they scored 2 more goals. Jay Nadeau and Nathan Bottles combined on back-to-back power play goals. That put their power play numbers to 2 for 4 and then 3 for 5. Impressive enough. And then afterwards, it seemed like CMU had this game in control. And Grand Valley, after 2 costly penalties from Central Michigan, was able to notch 1 power play goal and then another, get themselves back within 1 goal. But in the final 3.5 minutes, as we mentioned, CMU buckled down. Brendan Martin and his team accomplished what they wanted. They did not allow the goal within the final 2 minutes. Very, very important and impressive.
One thing that we did talk about during the broadcast was limiting penalties and mistakes. I would say the mistakes were limited, but late on in the game, one of the reasons that Grand Valley found new life in that third period was because of some undisciplined, untimely penalties. So obviously something that Central wants to continue to work on as the season progresses. But what they did do well, another key to the game that we discussed, was capitalizing on special teams. You talked about it already. How good did that power play unit look this afternoon and yesterday night?
Terrific. And it's one of those things that the last 4 games before this weekend series, they struggled. I think they had 3 power play goals out of maybe 15 chances close to. It was something where we came into this weekend saying 5-on-5, these teams are pretty evenly matched. But when they get on the special teams, whichever side gets the advantage is going to capitalize on those chances, and CMU did that. And when we talked to Brendan Martin, what did he say? Full 60 minutes, limit the mistakes, capitalize. They did all of that in this facet of the game, and it's why they won.
Yep, never want to give up 4 goals in a hockey game, but luckily for Central, they were able to put 6 on the board, so came away with the victory, and we'll take a look at our 3 stars of the game. Plenty of outstanding performers.
We had a long list to pick from.
I think you could argue Lauren Jones could have made it into our 3 stars with some of those key saves he made down the stretch.
What a job by him to really establish himself. Back-to-back performances. He stayed in the net this whole weekend.
Absolutely. Really earned that starting spot here in the 2nd consecutive game and looked lights out yet again. Our 3rd star tonight with 2 power play goals, which you said during the broadcast was within 35 seconds of each other, including the game winner, Jay Nadeau. Took some penalties down the stretch, but all in all contributed a lot to this team and a big reason why they won.
Yeah, and Nadeau's coming into his own as one of the leadership scorers on this team. He has this finishing ability now. He's done it in back-to-back games, multiple weekends, where he finishes these plays set up by either Porzondik or Bottles or even Siraki getting involved. It's one of those guys where going forward, you look at the film on this game and say he has that lights-out finishing ability to just make the play happen. Because you can make the play happen all you want. You got to have the finishing ability.
Absolutely. Brandon Clements clocks in at our second star today, had a goal and an assist. Those were the first 2 points of his ACHA career. First career ACHA goal, first career ACHA assist. So a monstrous night for him. You got to talk to him. How's Clements feeling after the big win?
Terrific. I mean, there's no other way you can put it. In 15 games, he didn't have a goal or a point. We were saying at this point, when does he get it? He'd been so unlucky to that point with so many good chances to score. He finally did it in this game, and boy, it was a lucky bounce. It was a goal we didn't even expect coming. It rang and circled off the head of Ziesler and just went in the back of the net past his shoulders. I mean, it doesn't matter how you get it done, why, wherever, he gets it done. He gets a goal, the assist, and what he mentioned in the pregame, he talked about the team so much, the team, how important it is for the unit, because he understands his assignment in this group. He understands his job as a state defenseman, and he did that on that facet. It doesn't show up on the score sheet, but he has been terrific defensively, and he once again showed that tonight.
Yep, that's hockey players for you, always putting the team before themselves. And our first start tonight, no surprise, it is Nathan Bottles, a goal and 2 assists. Yeah. Felt like the entire offense was running through him tonight.
This is finally the game where I think Bottles established himself not just to the team as one of the leaders and able to run the play, but the nation. Nathan Bottles is one of the best offensive forwards in ACHA Division III, and I say that with confidence because he's proved it now. Back-to-back nights, back-to-back weekends. If Bottles can keep playing like he does in this one, he's not only going to lift up his own line, but he's going to lift up the entire team with the way he plays. Terrific weekend from the transfer from Arcadia.
So, Devin, I got to ask you, Chippewas are unranked at the moment, out of the top 25. They take down number 15 ranked Grand Valley State. Do you see them in the rankings next weekend?
I think we're going to have to see some change in Grand Valley State at the 15th spot to see that happen. Obviously, coming into this weekend, we looked at the rankings saying there's some teams there that are maybe fakers, maybe not the record that they hold up to. You see 3-3 teams in the top 10. You see a 5-1 team at number 1. It's a little bit of confusion right now, but the one thing this establishes is down the road, if you're looking at the resume for CMU, a top 16 ranked opponent win, an MCHC opponent win, and Grand Valley is going to play
a team that's
a lot
atop
more
the
games.
MCHC,
Yeah,
top of their conference.
Top of their conference, their division in the West. And this is a team where they're going to play hope. They're going to play a lot more impressive opponents. They're going to play Division II Davenport. If their resume holds up and they can get some big wins against opponents, this is going to look more impressive for CMU. You would have liked to win by more goals because it does help in kind of the computer raw data. But the fact of the matter is, this will absolutely have an implication in CMU, and I'd be surprised if they did not move at least closer to that top 16 ranked spot. They still have a long ways to go. They got a good showcase coming up here against some good teams, Missouri State, Nebraska. Teams we'll probably see at Nationals. But the one thing we can say is this was absolutely their biggest win up to this point.
Have to agree with you, Devin. And as you mentioned, we'll be back on air. Well, first off, we'll be taking a bit of a hiatus for the winter break, celebrate the holidays. Hopefully, wherever you're watching, you're safe and have a Merry Christmas. And then in the second semester, spring semester for the Chippewas, they'll resume play January 20th, 21st, and 22nd at the Miami Showcase, taking on Nebraska, Missouri State, as well as Indiana Penn, as you mentioned.
Yeah, and for yourself, Kevin, just before we get ready to sign off and look at our out-of-town scoreboards, we'd like to thank you for coming on our broadcast and being such a great help. You and I had such a great time my freshman year, your junior year of high school, calling games that first year during the COVID-shortened season, and you've come a long way as a broadcaster. Calvin works for Adrian College's television network calling
That's why you heard me say Adrian and Bulldogs multiple times tonight. I tried my best.
He did slip up a couple of times.
My best.
We definitely chirped you about it, but you know what? Terrific call tonight. We had so much fun over that first year, and once again, just appreciate you coming on here, and you did a terrific job.
Yeah, thanks. It's really impressive what you and Reagan and the rest of the Chippewa or CMU Club Hockey Network crew have done here. It was a pleasure to join you, and I'd love to come back and do this whenever you guys need me. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Absolutely. And one more time, we'll look at our out-of-town scoreboards. As we talked about, Springfield, the number 1 team in the nation, taking on Thomas. Hope took down Rowan 7-2, and then Saginaw Valley dominated Davenport 9-2. And you know why that's big is Davenport upset Florida Gulf Coast, number 23 team in the nation, 6-3, splitting that series. And so, boy, you know, we talk about the implications of this game going forward. The ACHA, it's an anybody can beat anybody type of year, and we're going to see that going forward, I think.
Absolutely. Well, with that, we say thank you for joining us. Calvin Keys alongside Devin Sarah. Special thanks to Derek Steele and Reagan Cleaves behind the scenes making the magic happen. And the final here today, Central Michigan 6, Grand Valley State 4. That'll do it here from Martin Ice Arena. Calvin Keys and Devin Sarah signing off.